Welcome to Takeaways, Life Lessons Learned. So this is a Takeaways podcast first. First time ever I have not one, but two people here. Things are getting serious and very sophisticated. My guest today, it's fine. You could put it on the table.
Hold it anyways. For coffee.
It's a signal of how today's going to be. My guests are Cassie and Adi Moore, owners of the Moore Group, which is a full-service real estate and property management company. You have, go ahead. That's fine. Yeah.
You don't
Add the 300 residential properties that you have under management. Multiple time winners of the Review Journal Best of Las Vegas for, is it just property management or what categories?
Best team, property management.
It was best team and best property management.
Mm-hmm.
I think one year somehow we got best real estate office.
Yeah.
But we didn't even try for that, so it must have been.
It just happened, huh?
Yeah.
So several accolades as a company, personally and professionally. How many employees do you guys have at the Moore Group?
4.
Yeah.
4?
I know.
So wow.
Yeah, kind of downsized.
A mighty team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, so, it's all we need. I mean, it's us 2 plus the 4. So
6
really
total.
Total 6 total.
Gotcha. Okay.
For 300 properties, that's a lot of people, but we also do the sales, help people buy, sell, and do the management. So they're really for the management.
Okay. Well, let's get to know Cassie first. Ladies first. So you are the owner, broker, and a property manager at the Moore Group. Your bio says you were born in Chicago and grew up in the Bay Area, and then you moved to Vegas in 1999 to attend UNLV, where you majored in communications. So tell me first, how and why did you move from Chicago to the Bay Area?
Well, it's crazy. I only lived there for 6 months, and then
Just a baby.
Her first
and
6
then
months
my first 6 months
of life.
And then we moved to Arizona, and then we moved to Belmont, California, which is the Bay Area. Then we moved to Stockton. I lived there for a few years with my mom when my parents were divorced. And then we moved to Burlingame, which is the Bay Area, just south of San Francisco.
That was like 6 moves you just labeled.
Yeah, it was wild. I moved there
running.
when I was 8 and a half, and lived there till 17 when I came to UNLV for college, Las Vegas.
And why did you choose UNLV?
Well, it's crazy, but even like the first year of high school, they're like, where are you going to go to college? And I wrote UNLV. My dad lived here off and on while I was growing up, and I always wanted to get into real estate. And he would say like Las Vegas is booming. So I was like, great, I'll go there for college. And coincidentally, he moved around a lot. As you see, my first few years, but he moved even more. And when I came for college, he was living here at that time. So I came then.
So at some point in the story, we get to when you guys met and everything, but I don't know if we should do that just yet. Let's see.
We haven't met yet.
Not yet.
This is still Cassie and her dad and mom running away from the law, from Chicago to Arizona to here to there. Like,
I feel like you just learned something about your wife.
I know it.
Oh, you did know? Okay.
It was a wild one. No one knows what Cassie's dad did for a living, so we just go with it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, it was a art dealer, a car dealer, a dealer. I don't know.
Real
I have no idea.
estate, sunglasses,
Poker player. I think
poker,
when he passed
gambling.
away, didn't we make a list of like everything? It was like
Yes.
57 jobs that he did. Like we just came out like,
Yeah.
oh, I thought that was ridiculous.
Yeah, he was
Yeah, God bless that guy. He was
interesting
an interesting guy. Yeah.
All right. So you're let's pick back up from UNLV. You're in UNLV, communications degree, and then you you'll right into real estate.
So when my second year of college, in the summer, I got my real estate license, and I just went right into working right away. And
So you're like 19 years old at this point. 19,
I was
20?
19 in classes, and then 20 once I passed my test. I just turned 20 and started and just went right full-time working in real estate.
So this is 2002.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, 2001. I got
2001.
my license. 2002, became a realtor in like January, and I was working with Jack Woodcock and
That was your first
RJ
job?
Welch.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know them both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just passed away,
Right.
RJ, unfortunately. But I was interning with them for about 6 months, and didn't really work out. We stayed close and good, but then I went right into residential, and that was when I really started working. And was just going off, and it was good. And I already knew him. That's a fun story. We met in college. I met him a few months after I started college, and yeah. And then
She's so cute.
anyway,
What she's shy to tell you is that Cassie was my weed dealer in college, and that's how we met.
no, I bought weed from a D in college shortly after I came here, and we were friends for many years, but then we coincidentally got into real estate at the same time. So when I was doing residential, he was buying homes at the auction, fixing them up and selling them, and we just really always enjoyed each other's company. So when he would go drive around neighborhoods for the houses that were coming up the next day, I would go with him, do the homework on them, comps, and learn the neighborhoods and prices. And so we really have been working together in real estate since the beginning.
You were like the only Jewish girl I knew, like back then too, you know, really. It was like you were in like Vida, which is a funny story because that's the only like really people I knew, you know, that's how we met too, is I may have not been selling weed. And these two girls that would come all the time, and they're like, "Oh, you're gonna love Cassie. She also sells weed in the dorm. She's the queen of the dorm weeds, and you're here, and like she's Jewish and you're Jewish, and you're gonna love each other." And I'm like, "Bring her through." And then they brought her, and like ever since then, we were all really, really good friends. You know, like respectable.
Yeah.
And then started working together. Yeah, we'll get to that.
Mm-hmm.
Or are we there?
I think we might be there.
So,
but hold on. Let me just understand what you're saying.
Yeah,
so
I'm trying to understand what you're saying.
Student at UNLV, got your real estate license. You started working in real estate, but you guys have been friends since like a few months, like the second year in campus. So you guys have met.
Obviously, the minute she got to Vegas, she needed to get weed. Apparently, right? So, like, right away, she had to find me.
And you're saying this weed thing, but you're not kidding. I mean, you were actually selling weed.
We were actually selling. What year did I get here? 99?
You got here in 98. I got here in 99.
So I could just say that 98, 99, 2000, the reason UNLV, like athletic department, didn't do very well is probably because of me and our crew, you know. Because they were all at our house, like smoking, playing FIFA and James Bond hunting, and instead of being at practice.
No.
And that was pretty much UNLV those days. Yeah, it was right before you got there, of course. We're not putting you in the mix at all, so you were good. Hayim was always a good boy, just for the record. So, you know, not that we weren't good people or good boys. You weren't a boy, of course, but always with a good heart, you know, like good families, good heart.
So we're gonna get more into your story, but also like there's clarity here, and you're open about it. Like you were actually selling weed, and you guys kind of met through there. But you know, the punchline is, you said always with a good heart. There's good people that do things that may not be the best thing.
Maybe taboo.
Yeah.
Taboo.
It was the best time. Till today, I think my favorite job was selling weed. Just so you know, it was the funnest. Never had like a bad client. You know, like it was always like everybody smiling and happy. And
So-
they'd buy a sack for me and sit there and smoke it, and then they'd buy.
This is illegal, though. It's illegal.
It was illegal,
Yeah.
but it was a great time. Yes, it was illegal.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the statute of limitations?
I don't know.
I don't know. I hope it's past that, but
it's out there
yes.
now.
Yeah.
But you know, I came from LA, you know, so like it was just like this part of
All right, so let's put
of our culture.
let's put a pin in
Yeah, we'll
Cassie
get back
and,
to the-
and pick up from you. You were actually born in Israel.
Yes. Born in Israel in 1978. Maybe I shouldn't say dates because then people will know all my info. But
What's your social security number?
Right?
No.
604.
I'm just kidding. Where in Israel?
Tel Aviv.
Okay.
Born
And you moved to Los Angeles at age 9.
We did. It's a wild story because my mom actually forced the move. She had too many friends that like lost their kids in the army, and she didn't want me and my sister to die. You know, for not the wrong reason or a political reason or any reason, right? So she wasn't comfortable with sending us to the military, and she moved us. And then my dad, his whole life was like, "Oh, if you would have gone to the army, you would have made a man out of you." And but he's the one who took us out, so it's like a.
How good is his impersonation of his dad, Cassie?
Yeah.
Is it spot on?
Yeah.
All right.
Good.
Yeah. I'm happy you're a couple more ago. But yeah, no, we moved to North Hollywood, actually. I remember telling all my friends. And actually, it's a funny story. They told me the night before we left. because they
Your
knew
parents.
my parents in Israel, they knew I had such a big mouth, and they didn't want all the neighbors and everybody to know like that we're making a big move. Everybody's yentas and they want to talk about it, and so they
Sounds
told me
like
the night before.
sounds like you're a Yenta.
Big time. Can't stop talking. Fucking problem. But they told me they knew it since 1987 when we moved. They told me the night before. They're like, don't tell Adi anything. And literally, I remember they told me that day, and I ran to all my friends to tell them I'm moving to North Hollywood. I thought it was like Hollywood.
Mhm.
Nothing close to Hollywood at all. North Hollywood.
So why Los Angeles? Why North Hollywood?
That's just where my parents. Oh, why did my parents pick that? They had friends that my dad met this guy in Israel, and then he was living in North Hollywood, and he was like, "Come," and I guess that's just where he drove him to be around that guy, his friend, easy. Yeah.
And so you're here. You're 9 years old. What was North Hollywood like?
Oh, geez. Well, yeah, it was crazy. So I don't speak English. I know yes and no's. And here I am, I'm very social by nature, and I want to meet people. So I'm, this is at a time that everybody's super free range, right? You just go do whatever you want. So I'm 9 years old and in North Hollywood, and I just go outside in the neighborhood and I'm meeting people. I think the first person I met was Jimmy Mendoza, Filipino guy, super nice. Ended up being one of the heads of Satanas, which is a Filipino gang. But at the time I met him, he was really nice. I didn't know that that's where he's heading. And then another guy, Sergio, ended up being a big Mexican gangster. And then Brian Goad, who ended up being nothing. But all three of these guys completely took me in the wrong direction. I remember we just do everything, silly, free range boys in the 80s. So we're just a wild crew. And but I wanted to make friends, so that's just who was willing to be friends with me.
Sounds like the beginning of a joke, right? A Filipino, a Mexican, and an Israeli.
Yeah.
What was Brian?
American.
Okay.
I was Israeli, Mexican, Filipino, and super American white boy, blue eyes, blonde hair. Yeah, it was a funny bunch, but we just wandered around the streets. It was the movie Goonies, basically, American maniacs running around. Although I wasn't American, but that was a crazy time in my life because I don't even know how I befriended them because I don't speak English. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't even remember how that came. It's like caveman talk or something, ooh, ah, 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 ooh, ah.
Did they speak English?
Boom. What's that?
Did they speak English?
Yeah, of course.
So they were.
Spoke. I'm the only one that does it. That's what.
You're fresh. You're a fresh immigrant.
I think it was because I stole a pack of Parliament Light 100s from my mom's carton, and I was.
Oh, now you have street cred. You have street
coolest
cred.
kid on the block. And that's how I think that's what bonded us. I brought the cigarettes at 9 years old or 10 years old. Yeah.
So are they the ones that got you into selling weed, or did that come later?
That I can blame on a junior high friend of mine. We actually started selling weed for friends. It was a friendly thing. It was never I'm not on the corner with with a gun and selling a crack sling or another. It was just it was a friendly thing. I'm selling.
Sure, Cassie.
Right. I don't know about Cassie.
He's I was fine, but Cassie was
a maniac, man. It was crazy.
So you're
I was 14.
Okay.
14.
Are you smoking weed at this point?
Smoking weed. Very little amounts, of course. It wasn't crazy. Maybe not. Maybe it was just full blown. But my neighbor's brother. So then we moved from North Hollywood to Van Nuys. Now I got to make new friends. None of those friends followed or kept in touch. So now I'm making new friends. The first people I met were kids on the block playing baseball in the parking lot, I remember. And I thought, oh, this is great. Athletic people. It's going to be a good crew. Went to one of their houses. Their older brother, of course, is a tagger in a big tagging gang or whatnot. And next thing you know, he's pulling out a bong. If you don't know what a bong is, it's a device that you know what a bong is? I don't know.
Can you demonstrate?
You smoke out of it. Something like this, And then, so we did that. I did that.
It's like a water. It's like a big water pipe for weed.
Pipe, yes. So I did that, and that's ever since then I remember that's it. We bought our own bong, and we were 14, running around smoking and laughing and joking, and I never had a bad experience out of it, really. Mm-hmm. So it was always a heartwarming, how you say, a good event, experience. It was always like Native Americans who sat there and smoked a peace pipe. Mm-hmm. There was something to it. They were,
Good.
Yeah. So I met new friends. That's how they got started. We started selling, and then that just carried away to, until it ended. which was right when I graduated college.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
It ended when you graduated college. Well, hold on. Let's go.
We'll
So
get to that.
you go to high school, you go to UCSB for a year of college.
That was enough for me over there. UC Santa Barbara, it's beautiful, but it's a
beautiful
different
school.
world completely. I mean, I guess if your head is on straight and you're a normal person, it's probably magical and great the whole time. But again, I'm coming from North Hollywood to Van Nuys. Now I'm going to Santa Barbara. I'm always have to make new friends. The friends I made there were doing a lot of also bong rips and fun stuff. And it was a really big party school. It was like really...
It's a big party school.
I'm like little Israeli boy from LA now. And it's a lot of like white boy surfer, keg drinking, ska music listening type of people. And that's fine. It wasn't my crowd. And we were like shrooming every weekend, so it was like I really had to get out.
Now we're doing shrooms.
The shrooms were great. What did you say? How were they? They were amazing.
No, I'm saying now we're doing shrooms.
Now we're doing shrooms. Yeah,
we've
so
upgraded.
The gateway situation might be real. Yeah.
But
then they retracted. That was a Santa Barbara thing. It didn't carry over to Vegas. It's too hot for that kind of stuff out here. But yeah, so that was UC Santa Barbara. I had to get out of there, and I guess I figured Vegas can't be a party place.
Not Vegas.
Yeah, not Vegas.
Not Vegas.
Yeah.
I know, right?
All right, so now you're at UNLV. You're in the hotel college studying
yes
hotel management. When and how did you get into real estate?
So I finished UNLV.
Mazel tov.
Yeah, thank God. Amongst all the craziness I was doing and everything, I finished UNLV. I took my last final, and then right after that, like a week or two after that, I got raided. And what happened was I was still selling weed, but I may have included some other drugs in the mix, ecstasy. I don't know if you ever heard of it. It was a time of parties and craziness. So I was selling weed. I was selling ecstasy. I got snitched on. They raided me. They caught me. Next thing you know, I'm being sentenced to 6 months boot camp or 5 years.
How old are you at this point?
So I'm 20?
21.
21, right in that stage. I literally just finished my finals and I got rated and it was either, I remember John Spilotro was my attorney. Do you remember Spilotro? Do you know Spilotro?
I know the name.
Yeah. So I guess.
I've never been a client.
Good. His uncles were like in the movie Casino, the Spilotro brothers. Joe Pesci played like the uncles, the Spilotro family. But anyways, he saved me. It was my first time non-violent first offense. And I was able to ask for boot camp instead of a sentence. And thank God they gave it to me. And I went to do boot camp.
And your dad got his wish of you finally being being made a man out of you.
My dad's still waiting for that wish, But I'm sure he's thankful that I'm with Cassie, and that she's making a mensch out of me, right? And I was never a bad guy, again, to bring it to that. Like, it was just, I partied a lot, fucked around a lot. I really enjoyed laughing and having a good time per se, not like drug wise, but just like laughing, and I guess the weed and that kind of stuff made it all happen. But once I got to boot camp, I finished that, I got out, and it was like, okay, well, what do I do now? I think I found like a hotel management job in Oklahoma for like a Motel 6. They wanted to pay something like $35,000 a year. And I was like, wow, that just doesn't sound like a lot, especially coming from selling weed. And actually, like I'm making like $10,000 a week, and now they want to pay me $35,000 a year. So my dad actually, he was in real estate growing up in LA. Like when we moved from Israel to America, the first thing he did is buy an apartment building in the Hispanic hood of North Hollywood. And so he was always in the real estate game. So when I got out of boot camp, he was like, well, I heard there's an auction out there. They sell houses. You could bid on them. Why don't I put the money up? You go do the homework. Maybe we could, and then do the repairs and the rehabs and everything and sell it. And hopefully we could do something out of it. And we did one and made like 60 grand off of it. The first flip ever. I never looked back, and just went hard on that. And we did the auction for about like 7-8 years. And that's when I got out of boot camp. I'm telling Cassie, I saw Cassie right away. I found her. And I told her, hey, this is what I'm about to do. And she's like, what? I just got my real estate license. I'm like, what? So I was like, it was just meant to be. And the auction, I don't know if you know how it works. Back then they had the Nevada Legal News would publish like the list of all the properties that are coming up. So then we would look at the
So
list.
these are foreclosure auctions. So
Yeah.
the property's going to go through foreclosure.
Yes. So
And
exactly.
part of the foreclosure process is it has to be sold at auction, quote unquote, on the courthouse steps.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And there's this organization called Nevada Legal News.
It's
So
public.
part of the process also is like public notices and all this kind of a thing. So
Exactly.
you would get the list of homes that are going to be sold, foreclosed homes,
Exactly. For the next
and you would go bid on them.
Well, first I'd get the list, and then me and Cassie would pick like the 10 to 15 properties that seem interesting, and then we'd go drive around, look at them, make sure they're like actual houses. Also determine like occupancy, are they vacant, are they not? Because then we're dealing with an eviction or not. Is it a facade? Is it like all burnt down? So we have to like really get as much as we can off of it, and then the next day I would go bid on them, and then we did that for a while, and so we'd spend a lot of time together, obviously. Looking at houses, doing the research.
How much time from when the list came out to when you're there bidding on the house? Is it a day? Is it?
Oh, every day I would go to the
So
auction.
at nighttime, drive around, and next morning,
Go bid.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So not a lot of time for due diligence.
No.
I mean, I'm sure there was people who with way smarter and advanced than me.
No, I don't think there was.
Well, maybe was there more time? I don't know. I know it came out like a week at a time. I think back then.
Because they also got postponed. So
A lot of postponement. You really don't know what's coming up for sale.
Yeah,
stuff.
you just have to be
Until
ready.
And then when you're there, you hope you have the homework and you maybe seen it and ready to bid. Funny story: the house I live in the country club right now. I bought it sight unseen, homework unseen, undone.
Yeah.
Sight unseen, homework undone, per se. I was at the auction. They were running through properties. I didn't get any of my bids. And then, I'm out of homework. And then suddenly they're like, would anyone like to qualify? And this guy standing next to me had the homework for this property. And all I saw was the tax record printout. And I saw it said Anthem Country Club. I was like, ooh, that sounds fancy. I don't know the neighborhood, the house, nothing. They said opening bid, $425,000. And here I go, I jump. I don't have no homework, never seen the house, no idea why. Something, and made me do it. And I was like, $1 more, or $1 more, I think I said. And then everybody was silent. And I'm like, what the fuck? Nobody, these are people that are bidding like animals. And now nobody's bidding after I just said $1 more on $425,000.
Ooh.
Mind you, this is not my money. Like, it's my dad's life on that, like it's his money on the line. Like, he'll kill me. So then I got it. I won the house, and then I immediately got in the car and drove to Anthem Country Club, with like an auction receipt, like a maniac, and requesting access through the gates, and they gave it to me, and ended up being the people that were there. They didn't even know that the owner, they were renters. They didn't know the owner wasn't paying the mortgage. It was like Christmas. I was like, fuck, what I do? My dad's like, get him out. I'm like, Abba, it's Christmas. Relax, like, let's wait till January. He's like, okay, fine. And then they got out, and there was a rental for a few years. And once we had our first baby, Mia, we're like, let's move to that one, and we had a tenant in there. And she moved out, and we had Mia, and it was like this perfect timing, and we've been there ever since. But it was a crazy, 25 years ago, we bought this house. Homework, sight unseen, homework undone. And here we are, just like our home now.
So I'm curious about, so that's a very specific time in Las Vegas real estate. I've got a couple questions about this process, and maybe these are myths or myth busters. Do you have to have cash on you?
Cashier checks. So
Cashier's checks.
So what we would do, like, let's say you're working with $600,000. You would come in there with like $100,000 cashier check, like 100, and then 50, and maybe 20, 20s, and maybe a couple fives. And when you win the bid, because
it's like Monopoly money, you're like,
you give them as close as you can, Funny thing is, this one guy did come with a fanny pack once full of cash, and they're like, no, like,
we don't take cash.
No. Yeah, it was.
So they're cashier's checks. And what if you have, do they give you change?
You give them as close as you can to the winning bid, and then within 2 weeks, you get the actual deed in the mail, and
then you reconcile either more or less. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Or do you have to give them more?
Always more.
Always
more. Yeah. And then you have to round it up, and they'll give you the refund with the deed.
That could be one of your taglines as a company.
Always more.
Could be.
Yeah, I like that.
We'll get to that later.
Too, yeah.
Another myth question back in those times, I heard like there's risk because you don't.
Oh my!
You said,
yeah,
right? You drive and then you go and bid. No, but beyond that, like the myth is you don't want to buy a house where they poured concrete into the plumbing.
Oh,
does that ever happen? Was that just an urban legend kind of a thing?
No, we've seen it. We've went
even
during the REO days.
Yeah, REO.
It was more. This is before the REO days. The REO days were 2008, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, 2008, 9.
Okay,
that's a different world. By that time, I was already out of the auction. Believe it or not. this is way before that. So it wasn't really with the concrete stuff, but what the mistakes you could make was like buying, you don't have the right homework. Now when you go to the auction, there's a title company like on site. I think they give you like all the homework. This is a first, this is the date of trust. They give you everything. Then you would have to call your connects or your contacts at the title company, tell them, hey, I'm interested in this property. Can you give me a property profile? You would look at the property profile report. You make sure that what is coming up for sale is actually the deed, the same thing. That's when I learned what a second is. I bought a 1-story house, 2,600 square foot, 3-car garage in Green Valley for $55,000. I remember. And nobody stopped me, of course, at the auction. A bunch of maniacs. No one is going to stop somebody from making a mistake. They want you to like fuck up, lose your money, and never come back again. So it was a cutthroat in that terms. And I remember I called my dad and I was like, I just bought this house. It's, $55,000. He's like, what? What did you do? You bought a second? And I'm like, what's a second? And that's when I found out what a second is. So thank God it worked out.
What is a second?
So what is a second? It's a second deed of trust. So like people were, you have a first deed of trust for $200,000 and a second deed of trust for $50,000 and you brought the rest, and that's how you bought the house for $300,000, right? Mm-hmm. But if you stopped paying your second mortgage first, well, that's the one that's going to auction. So you could be fine on your first deed of trust. Mm-hmm. You're just not paying your second. Or like we learned with the big HOA thing, some people just didn't pay their HOA things. And that's where all the HOA foreclosures came from. You know what I'm talking about?
Sure.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
So
you have a second now. Can you foreclose?
So, no. Second just gives you the first right to pay off the first. If it's in default. If it's not, you bought nothing. You did nothing. You literally did nothing. And I've seen that happen to somebody too, That was actually a funny story. Not funny. I guess it's not a funny story. Now it might be a little bit. But we were at the auction. There was a property that I was interested
Everything's funny in the rearview mirror, right? To a point.
Yeah, I know. We were at the auction. I was really interested in this property. I bought it. I knew it was the first. Great. I went to Israel for Passover. I came back like a month later. I come to the auction and they're like, did you hear what happened? I'm like, no. They're like, Julio, he bought the second. I don't know why. I'm like, okay, I didn't pay any attention to it. The same house that I bought the first before I left. Then I get a phone call from this guy. Oh, no. I go to see the house that I bought, right? I bought it first and I went to Israel. I came back. We literally got together and went to go see the house. We come to the house and, I opened the door. How did we even open it? Was it unlocked? Did I break in? Maybe I broke in.
I don't remember. Yeah.
I mean, it's my house. I'm thinking. Yeah. I just bought it. I have to gain entry. We went into the house, and the house is immaculate. Brand new paint, brand new carpet, brand new everything, like brand new landscape. And I'm like, wow, this is amazing. Then I found out that this guy bought the second, and he remodeled it. So I had to call him, and I was like, hey, come. And he came. Remember, he came. It was like 8:00 at night. It was dark. He rolls up, and this is a grown man. Now, I'm like 22, fucking punk. And this guy's a grown man, probably worked his whole life to save enough money to go to the auction and buy this property, because I could tell. And he comes and I have to explain to him like, hey, I think you bought the second. And he's also like, what's a second? So I explained it to him.
You're like, I'm a veteran and I've bought a second before. I know I could tell you what this is.
Yeah, exactly. Unfortunately. And then I could see the distraught, like the frustration and the guy he paid like $180,000 for a second.
Wow.
So I know he's just been wiped out. Like it's wiped. It means nothing because I bought the first. And you could see that in his demeanor, in his face, everything. Like he just turned like white, like a ghost. Like fuck, like he just ruined everything. Like his wife is gonna eat him up when he gets home. I call my dad. I'm like, no. So he goes, disappears real quick. I'm talking to Cassie. Next thing I see him coming out the side gate from the backyard, holding a couple pieces of sod, grass, the square sod. Mm-hmm. So he just installed the sod. He was so frustrated. He went and he was going to take the sod. Like fuck it. I lost $170,000, but I'm taking the sod with me. So I call my dad. I'm like, Abba, this guy's taking the sod. Like, what'd I do? And my dad was like, why don't you just tell him, like, pay him something for the sod, and like I was able to like pay him a couple dollars, and he left the sod, and never seen him again at the auction. That's for sure. And we still own that house. But it was a crazy story. It was crazy. It's just a crazy business, scary business. Yeah.
Crazy. So no concrete in the pipes.
No. But the REO days, we did see houses with that. That was a different story because people were pissed off. They're like, why won't you work with me?
Yeah.
Give me a short sale. Like, they literally were taking houses from people that they could have just they took the house and then just sold it to somebody else when that same owner would have
Right.
just paid that, you know?
Yeah.
That's where the
It
concrete.
was a bad look, though.
That's
to
where the
sell
concrete,
it, to sell it
came.
for a short sale. There was a period where,
It was hard. They're
was
not,
hard,
the name short sale is very deceiving.
yeah.
It would take forever and it was hard to get responses and work with people fast enough. But yeah, a lot of that was done wrong, in my opinion.
I had a 4-year short sale
Yeah.
that closed, and it took 4 years for them to finally approve me. It was ridiculous. They could have just not sold it to me, put it on the market, and make way more money. But just because I was already in the mix, they would just let it close. And I'm like, okay, it was insane.
Wild times. Well, let's go back to Cassie I like to get through the bio and then get into the story, so that's fine. We're going to jump around a bit today, it sounds like. But Cassie, today, let's fast forward to today. You won the top 40 under 40 realtors 3 times in a row, and you are in the Realtor Hall of Fame. That's pretty significant.
Thank you.
You wrote a chapter in a book called The Successful Woman's Mindset in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll talk more about the chapter, but it's about being powered by kindness in business. You've got 2 children. You guys mentioned you have 2 children. Cassie, in your spare time, you enjoy good food, hanging out with friends, laughing, going to, going to spaces. I don't know what I was typing there.
Spas.
Spas.
Love
That's
spas.
It auto-corrected.
No,
Oh, yeah. Yes.
That was good. Do you do word puzzles?
I do love word puzzles, actually. Yes.
So going to spas, and you recently started playing tennis and golf. Is that because you live in the Anthem Country Club?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
I think it's because we've been paying golf dues for 2 years.
You might as well start using them.
Yes.
Insane.
Yeah, and the tennis ladies are fun and nice, and I'm not athletic, but they're so nice that it works out.
So
Nice.
Danielle, my wife, played tennis growing up and obviously went away from it for a long time, school, kids, and now she just started playing again also.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Awesome.
Yeah. So Adi, a.k.a. the Rent Man.
Rent Man, yeah.
Wow. We'll talk about where that came, what that alter ego is. You enjoy spending time with family the most. You also love good food, stand-up comedy, spa days. It sounds like you looked at Cassie's bio and,
I swear
copied what she wrote.
That's what is insane about this. You know, like I had a lot of friends that were like, what happened to you, bro? Who are you? And I'm like, you know what? I matured and grew into this wonderful person that I am today because of Cassie. And that's why it was important for me to bring her too, because like I was a real fuck around kid, you know, growing up.
You don't say.
Obviously, right? Yeah. Check my resume. So then, you know, like
none of that stuff you were talking about with your early ventures into entrepreneurism was in your.
Always had good work ethic, you know, always trying to flip a dollar, you know, an ounce into it more, whatever it may be. But yeah, no.
Yeah, we enjoy the same things.
Literally, that's what
why
That's
we're
amazing.
we
always
spend a lot of
together.
time together too. Like we're always together. Like, you know, people are disgusted by our cuteness and love. You know, and I could see why, because it's like, what is this? Fuck, enough. But it's really like, as you can tell, like I'd rather not go and talk without her by me to pinch me and stop me from saying too much or not enough or the wrong thing. And I need her to correct me. You know, she's my autocorrect. She's my my manners. My you know, she's really, Cassie is something special because of her intuition. She's got a really good intuition, and she's really in tune with people's emotions and feelings, which is something that, like, growing up Israeli with my dad, as he was like the original Rent Man, like, it's like, fuck you, pay me. There is no feelings, you know. What the fuck you mean a toilet? Fucking you know, unclog it. It's your shit, and not, you know, don't call me. So
Literally, it's your shit.
It really is, right? It really is. So Cassie was really the first person who was like stopped me, and made me like think about other people's feelings, you know, and like that kind of, you know, that whole thing. So powered by kindness is really, I like to say.
I got. We'll get to the powered by kindness stuff.
We'll talk
just-
about Cassie again.
Let me finish the bio.
I am so sweet, and it's disgusting.
Cute.
And I lost so many friends
Great.
who don't even want to associate with me because I'm so fucking.
all your friends love it.
I mean, they
love
might.
us.
Some of them refuse to love it until finally they love it, and they're like, "Yeah, you're right." You know, when you know Cassie and you see that sincere, you know, that she's sincerely nice and cares, then you're like, "Oh, okay, it's real." A lot of people maybe think it's a front or something.
Do you get that? Like, people think that you're fronting in a way?
You know, I don't like stick around to hear it. I'm like, I either vibe with someone and we get to know each other more, or if it's not really going, I don't know what they say when I leave,
Maybe he's making it up.
No.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Yeah, making it up.
No. It might be out there. Not everyone
I think it's because of her voice too. Like she has like this like young cartoon character voice, right? Like you call her and you're like, "Oh, is your mom there?" Like she's like, "No, it's me. I'm the broker."
I've been trying to pin down what your voice is. It's
Mine?
like this. Yeah, you've got this like Borat Ali G combo going from the streets a little bit,
right? I don't know. It's just an accumulation of nonsense of all my life, right? That's just what it's.
So rounding out the Cassie Adi Moore Group bio intro, the last thing that's in there, very clearly in there, very specifically in there, is that while you guys are partners, Cassie's really the boss.
Yes.
Now,
we both are. We both are.
We have we're like a yin and yang.
Yeah.
Like there's stuff that definitely I need her like word on, and there's stuff that I
need your word on. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely, because we all have moods and different timing, and sometimes like he needs to be the voice of reason, and sometimes I do.
There's times where I'm the
come on, Cassie.
It's freaking.
Come on.
Yeah.
1 out of 700 times.
No, he really is.
No, listen. No matter what I did and who and what, it's a lifetime of experience, and I've been doing real estate and rehabs and dealing with maintenance and vendors for so long that no matter how and who and what, the experience is there. So so we're not falling for the banana in the tailpipe. Like somebody tells us something.
Like he's definitely the voice.
You just said he's sometimes generous.
No, very generous.
No, implying that
always.
Like he is liable to like give away the farm, and you're the one that has to like pull the reins.
That too.
Funny story on that.
Sometimes he would.
Funny story on that. In LA, when I was like 14, still, again, entrepreneur, trying to make money. My dad and one of his partners, like they bought I don't know, some container full of like these rickshaw phones. It was like a phone that looked like a rickshaw. And I remember that he had them in the garage, and I guess they were going to sell them or something. I don't know what they were going to do with them, but I started doing garage sales and just selling them myself. So it was, and then I just started giving them out because no one bought them. But my parents would laugh that I just.
Story I've never heard.
The rickshaw?
So funny.
Oh my God. I remember my parents would be like, they're afraid that I just give the neighbors everything. I just give people things from the house.
You would. You'd give your mom's bras away. You would give stuff from
What?
the house.
You've heard that story from my mom?
Yes.
Hayim, I have no idea why, but I'm walking around with my mom's used bras like, you must need this. Rivka, you look like you need my mom's bra. It's silly shit. Can you imagine, like, whoever it is calling my mom, like, hey, your son just gave me your bra. Like, is this for real?
Yeah.
Because I really want it or not.
Give away everything in your house. Yeah.
Yeah. Made my dad really nervous,
Still, which I love. It's like one of the many things I love about you.
Insane, the girl,
So we've made it through the bio. So let me say officially welcome to Takeaways, Cassie and Adi.
Oh,
good to be here. It's good to be here.
Tell me more about your two kids.
Yeah. They're amazing. I love them. We're obsessed with them. We're always together with them.
Bunch of fucking maniacs.
Yeah, they are.
There's one that's a mini Cassie, Mia. So there's Mia and Liv. Mia's 10. She's a mini copy of Cassie. Mm-hmm. And then there's Liv, who's a copy of me. Mm-hmm. Cassie likes to say that it's like I had a baby by myself.
Yes.
With Liv.
Yeah.
Liv is my two girls. But Liv, ever since she was like 2.5, she's been demanding to be referred to and be a boy.
Yes.
So,
oh, wow.
Of course we supported her, him, they, however the fuck I'm supposed to talk refer to Liv, but we try to just say Liv. But yeah, fade haircuts, boy clothes, nothing pink.
At 2 years old.
At 2.5.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
I would say something like, "You're a good girl," something like that, and she'd be like, "Abba, I'm a boy." I'm
a good boy.
I'm a good boy, yeah. And
say sister. She's like, "I'm a brother," and I'm like, "Oh."
Yeah, and we weren't. Not that we weren't ready for that, or I guess not expecting that, but
for
it's
us.
definitely like a modern family, a whole new world. But
how does Liv now?
6.
6.
Yeah.
And still adamant. And we have discussions and
I don't have a problem with it. She could be a zebra as long as she's a good person.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes.
So we're learning. We're living and learning from her. Yeah, they're teaching us a lot, these kids, obviously. Kids really mature you up. Even though I don't sound like it,
Yeah.
they really do. This is me being mature. You know, like, so, yeah, it's wild.
And Mia's a great sister to live and supportive and
And it's
fun
super
and
nice, yeah.
smart and funny.
How old is
They're
Mia
both
again?
funny.
Mia's
10.
10.
10.
So it's Mia more,
Yes.
like my love, and then
Yeah.
it's Liv more.
Wow.
So when my mom passed away, that's right when Liv, right, she had cancer and she was there. So we
And 2018 high.
so we said
Liv.
live more. You know, like don't forget in life, kind of like a Ferris Bueller line, right? Like don't
Mhm.
forget, live more.
Mm.
Yeah.
And that's where that came from. And Mia more,
Mhm.
yeah. Yeah. And then we were gonna have a third. If we were gonna have a third kid, it would have been one more. And if it
No,
would have
come
been a
on.
fourth kid,
Like
it would have
Juan?
been no more.
Like Juan?
Like Juan more, and then no more.
Yeah.
Or like the Asian spelling, like the NGO, you know. Yeah. But no, after the second one, like Cassie likes to say, her two tied themselves and said, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, my dad always used to say, like, if you were the first, you would have been an only child. And now I'm like, oh, I get it now. That's crazy. Like, if Liv was the first, it would have only been Liv.
There would only one.
Yes, I love him. But what a bunch of maniacs. It's like
a
kids
lot.
raising kids, you know? Like,
Yeah.
it's wild.
Our hands and hearts are full.
Yeah.
You know, I
Yeah.
couldn't do anymore.
Kids? Yeah, no. No, there's something to say about people with 3 kids, but we won't say it on the air.
In front of someone
In
who
front
has
of
3
someone who
kids.
says 3 kids, right?
Yeah.
Borderline maniacs. No,
No.
it's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
Honestly,
Someone once told me like there's stuff you could say about everyone, right?
Right.
1 kid, no kid, 2 kids,
Right.
3 kids, 5 kids. I have a friend in real estate. He's got 8 kids. But they described it as when you go from 2 to 3, all the symmetry changes. The table changes, the car changes. That was something I was like, that's very practical. It's true.
Yeah.
You can't have like, all right, you go, mom goes to this activity, dad goes to this activity.
more.
That's it.
right.
Yeah.
There's a whole zone to man thing.
Yeah,
The
no, it
defense.
goes off the, yeah, you got, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, before we get too far into more stories, let me take this opportunity to ask you guys a question that I ask everybody on this show. What has been the single most influential thing or event in your life that shaped you the most? Who wants to go first?
I mean, I could say it. You know, I could go first. I feel like there was not a lot, like several key things. You know, like moving to America as a 9-year-old, that's like a pretty big change, right? And then, but I'd like to think that the getting arrested when I was 20 and going, you know, to boot camp and living through that ordeal definitely made me realize what I don't ever want to be a part of. That kind of energy, you know, that kind of crowd. I don't want to be in jail. I don't want to be locked up. I don't want to be, you know, like, and I'm so glad that it happened to me at 20 years old, 21 years old. And I could like ditch that whole lifestyle behind me and like just focus on like just making sure that I'm, you know, like I'm always, like I just say, like when I wake up, I just feel happy that I'm alive and free. And everything else is bonus to me. So I think like that going, you know, getting arrested and coming out of it, like, you know, I finished the boot camp program like successfully, and it was hard, you know, that program. It was like a Marine Corps style program. So it was a lot of craziness that you would imagine. It was like boot camp in the military, but without the guns. And then meeting Cassie. So literally, I know it sounds like I'm fucking, well, it's just fucking embarrassing. But it's the truth, and it's okay. I own it now, you know, and, you know, it was getting arrested and never looking back on doing any weasel and crazy shit again, and meeting Cassie and really like, you know, understanding, you know, there's so much more, and like, and what energy I want, you know, to be around.
So let me ask a few questions on this. So Brad Howard was one of my previous guests, and he talked about this experience that he had. He called it a scared straight moment. He was making fake IDs in college and also not thinking he was doing anything.
Stint with that too.
Yeah, no.
It's funny.
I feel like
when I was 19, but
I feel like you have a rap sheet.
there's a resume that's been sealed and expunged, but yes.
But same thing. He's, you know, the way that he was, he's like, I'm not a bad person. He was entrepreneurial, sees an opportunity. Doesn't think he's hurting anybody, but he is breaking the law.
Right.
And his scared straight moment, he didn't get arrested, but like the feds were looking for him. And he was like, the friend across the street or something like that was like, the feds are looking for the person making the fake IDs. And he was like, I was scared straight. Yeah. And it's not like you're a bad person that has to, this is a question I have actually. for him, the way he explained it, it's not he's a bad person. He has to like turn away from a bad life. He just is a good person that was doing bad things, that he was scared straight and just knew not to do bad things anymore like that. And I'll bring Liv into this, like the whole nature nurture thing. At 2.5, it's hard for me to sit here and say, all right, well, he was influenced by something.
Totally.
You get school, because Liv's not in school at 2.5. Yeah. And I remember, so my middle daughter, Ava, I still remember where I was sitting, where she was walking. She was maybe 1.5 when like it was like literally a switch flipped and she became girly girl. Like, I want to wear dresses. And if they don't, like, she'd put them on. If they don't twirl the right way, it's not the right dress. Right. She's a dancer 20 hours a week. I mean, so nature nurture for you said like you grew up with your friends and they took you down a wrong path. Crowd, yeah. Like, do you believe that for you, is it more nurture? Was it nature? Are you prone to do it one way or bad way, the right way? So you're still an entrepreneur. You chose a very positive energy. We'll get into the company and like your motto and how you do things. What are your thoughts on?
Well,
are there good people that get caught up in bad things?
Yeah,
and
100%.
And like another thing to introduce to this, like cancel. Like, you should be canceled right now, Adi. Everything you just shared, like, you're a horrible person. You should never be in business. You shouldn't even be in our community. You're a monster. Is that?
No. God forbid. No.
Yeah,
I guess I did. I saw that. I always knew that. Like, yeah, it was kind of like nature and nurture. I mean, like.
And it also kind of spirals. Like, same for me. It was like, I wasn't just selling to like make money. So how can I do it? It was like okay, well, we all want this. Okay, I can get it. I can break it up and then sell it out. And then it like was like, oh, and now we want to party with this. Okay, let me go get that. And then we'll do it. And you're kind of doing it in like a safe environment.
What's interesting is like your motivation is not like devious and evil. Your motivation, as you're describing it, is really to help your friends. Or like, you're the caring person that's bringing the solution.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
so
like
funny.
What you're going to get somewhere else, you do it like, okay, in the safer environment per se. So I think you're just doing it to like experiment, have a good time.
And you're 20 and not thinking
for me, it was always
about consequences per se.
Yeah.
For me, I don't remember if it was nurture or nature, but for me, it was always attracted, I guess, or caught up in the like with the crowd that's fucking around.
But
it's
you
funny because
I was also around. Yeah,
I was also like in gifted AP classes. Like all sorts of stuff. So it's like I was very very diplomatic. Like I'm good with the super smart Asian kids, but I'm also good with all the black kids, and I'm also good with the Mexicans, and I'm good with everybody. I was cool with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Still are.
Yeah.
But when it came to hanging out, it's like we always liked to. It was, we were like growing up free range. We were like Jackass before Jackass. That's why, literally when I think about it, I'm like, look, we were fucking around, doing pranks, doing crazy, jumping off this, doing that. That was just what gave us like energy and momentum and like a good time. And, what really in Santa Barbara is very peaceful again, right? It's like super hippie and this and that. It's really when I came to Vegas, what happened was a person that I knew, he was like, hey, so what happened? Because my dad is a real estate guy. So he knew I'm coming to Vegas. He's like, you know what? I'm going to buy this townhome across the Maryland Parkway, between the car wash and like Einstein Bagels. There's a little street and it goes back.
This is by UNLV.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
who bought the house? Your dad or the guy that you're talking about?
So my dad bought a little townhome there on Santa Anita. And because he knew I was going to be in Vegas, and he doesn't like to pay rent. So from a real estate perspective. And that's why I moved, and I lived there alone. It was a 2-bedroom, but one of my friends was like, hey, I know a guy, he's looking, you want a roommate? I'm like, yeah, for sure. And really, that's what like really spiraled us off into like a crazy life that I wasn't expecting at all. And I was never, like, even my fuck around friends in LA, it was like just weed and like fucking around, like for fun, for joke, for laughter. We'd smoke a joint and then do stand-up comedy to each other. Like, that's the group, like it's not like we're smoking a joint and robbing people. But when this guy that I got introduced to became my roommate, he came to UNLV to play football, but I guess he got kicked off the team or just didn't care to play, took his like scholarship money, bought some weed and drugs and started selling. And this guy, now he's my roommate, and he was a nice guy, but he was involved with like all the craziest of the crowds. And I believe like that, I kind of got, for some reason, God wanted me to like experience that. So now I'm living with this guy and he's selling to like, I'm going to, mind you, I'm going to school every day, to classes, coming home, doing homework, projects, like I'm in school. While this guy is selling to strippers and gangsters and thugs and other dealers. And so in the house, it was always like 5 to 10 people there at all times, smoking and joking and this, that. And it was just all sorts of illegal activity going on there. And I'm just like, fuck, like, like I'm just hoping I'll be okay. But I'm already caught up in this. And it was hard for me to like, it's hard to break up. It's hard for me to tell this like goon, basically, like this maniac, like, hey, man, like I don't feel good with what's happening. Like, can you move out? It was hard for me to get to that. So it was 3 years of living with the craziest crowd I've ever known. I mean, I'm talking about pit bull fights in our living room. Crazy stuff.
Wow.
And that's not me. It wasn't me. And that's where all this energy, why we're so big on energy, because for 3 years I ate shit, living with the worst of the people that I could, they're good. They're not the worst of the people, but it was like the worst energy. I mean, there were some real maniacs. I mean, some of them overdosed, some of them died, some of them are in jail. It's like really, really bad. And I'm going to school, finishing school there. And, so it was that part. I really, I got kind of like put into a bad position and I didn't get myself out, to get out of it. What I had to do, Hayim, I told the guy that I'm moving to LA. I'm like, you know what? I'm done with college. And he's like, what? I'm like, yeah, I'm not, I'm not feeling it. I'm going back to LA. And I literally went back to LA. And my dad, he was like, oh, you don't want to go to, because I told everybody that. Nobody knew I'm just coming out. Yeah, maybe I didn't even realize this is what I'm doing. It was subconscious. I told my dad I don't want to go to school. I told him I don't want to go to school. I went to LA. My dad was in the middle of building this house, I think. And he was like, oh, you don't want to go to school? Come, I got work for you. And he had me digging trenches like a maniac. And then after like a month of digging trenches, I was like, nah, I think I'm going to go back to school. But when I came back, he had, so when I left, he had to leave.
Right.
That's the point.
I got it.
And that's how I got rid of that energy from my life. And I never looked back. And I lived either alone or I moved in with these girls that I knew. And then eventually it was just with Cassie. But living in that house on Santa Anita for 3 years was like the underground black market with the craziest of craziest things that happened there. And I'm just so thankful to God that I made it. Like, that I made it out of that experience. Number one, alive and free. And then, so the things that shaped me was like all that, it's like that. And then getting arrested and putting a kibosh on that. And then, joining with Cassie and just understanding the energy I need and I want, and I never looked back, man. I can't even with that crowd or energy, Can you imagine? Now at this day in time with kids, like, it's crazy, Yeah. It was really wild. It was so nature. I don't know what it was, Hayim. It was God's plan for me to live out this crazy fucking experience, to be here, and then
a little bit of both.
A little bit of both. Yeah.
Cassie?
Yeah.
What's been the single most influential thing or event in your life that shaped you the most?
I think getting into real estate, I stopped doing any things that I could have got in serious trouble. And then I joined forces with him and I had like a purpose and a passion and something that was going to help me obtain all my goals. And it has helped me obtain all of my goals. And I've learned a lot and it's just, everything's been really positive from getting into real estate. I mean, of course, there's so many things in life, but I think getting into real estate just...
Yeah,
everything came together and was
I'd
right.
add that to my, obviously, because I got out and I started doing real estate, and real estate probably saved, I mean, boot camp saved my life, right? Yeah. But like real estate saved my career life, the rest of my life, definitely. Yeah. Because I never did anything but that since.
And I feel right doing it, and I do love it, Everything about it.
Say more about that. What do you mean by feel right?
Well, I feel like I'm doing something. I feel successful. I feel happy. I feel fulfilled. I feel this is what I enjoy learning, like I don't know everything, but I really know and feel real estate and everything that comes with it,
Like
us
helping
doing
people,
it
you know,
together,
you
helping
feel
people.
helping people. You feel the love,
Oh, the connections we've made, the friends we've made, the things we've learned from it, the way we can help other people in our community from doing real estate in so many ways, and just all the brainstorming that comes with it, everything. I think real estate has been, the thing that just, has been such a great thing in my life.
Yeah, definitely.
So I want to shift into more this powered by kindness that's branded so nicely on you guys.
Yes.
Before though, Cassie, tell me more about the More Group. You mentioned there's you two plus 4. You guys manage what's like day to day? Tell me more about the business, the inner workings.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've been doing, real estate now. It's 22 plus years. We've had a team at another company, but 10 and a half years ago, we opened the More Group. And so I'm the broker. We're both the owners, property management. The day-to-day has changed since that day. So it's always changing with how many accounts we grow and hiring new people. That's something new, going out, doing the field work. We've both done all the positions. Maybe I haven't done the accounting position part in that. That's probably the only.
You're a communications major. You're never doing accounting.
Right.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I'm like, thank God for him. He's so smart.
Thank God for the communication major. Trust me. See.
But I've done what? Oh, sorry.
No, I was gonna say, like, on a day-to-day level, whenever we have a problem, you know how property management is basically
that's actually the job.
That's the job. Solving problems.
Yes.
With finesse.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, you could choose how, but it being in property management, it's like when someone calls you 99.999% of the time, it's because there's a problem. And that's why we have a job.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what it comes. Sometimes they call and say, wow, you're doing a good job.
Yeah.
Probably not though.
But I promise you that when we are dealt with an issue, if I can't like have an answer right away, we're always bringing it to Cassie. Like, what do you think? Because like me, I'll have my crazy answer, right? And I'm like, oh, fuck that. We're going to go pull his AC fuse. He's never going to make a stupid fucking maintenance call like that again.
He's kidding.
We bring it to Cassie and she's like, well, and she'll, again, why I say she's very in tune with the feelings and that, because the things that I'm not even thinking about, that's all she's thinking about. And it's like, well, how's that going to make that tenant feel or the owner feel? And let's, why don't you just actually send the message like this, not like that? You know how many emails I wrote and then erased because Cassie came read them? You know how many times I erased before I even called it account?
Sometimes you just need to write it out, but not send it.
Right. That's for sure too.
She's like our Yoda when it comes to like, okay, the final answer. Let's see what Cassie says.
Yeah.
Like, what would Cassie do?
Yeah.
So what's your profile of owners that you manage for?
Oh my God. So right now we have like the best owners, the best properties. I almost even would say the best tenants, and our team is incredible. So
a lot of single owners, like mom and pop owners.
Yes.
We don't have any like hedge funds or any huge. We have like 2 clients that have like 10 plus properties, but the rest of our clients all have like 1 or 2, properties.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
Yeah, that's our primary. Yeah.
And so someone calls you and says, I have a house. I want you to manage it.
Yeah.
You send them a management agreement.
Totally. I talk to them, see where the property's located, the age of the property.
Cassie does all our intakes.
I do every intake.
You
so
yourself.
I know every owner. My phone number's on our website. So every tenant can call me. Every owner can call me. Exactly.
Make sure how hard it is to tell somebody, hey, everything sounds great, but you sound like a weasel. You sound like a cheap weasel. You sound like a super weasel. How do you tell somebody?
I don't think she's ever going to say it like that.
That's why she does the intake, because she knows how to let somebody. I think her line is, I don't think we're the property management company for you. I think you'd be happier with blah, 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 and whatnot, And
I have friends to refer them to, or we're not a good fit, and over the years, I've just become more strict and confident, so like it's a lot easier to have these conversations and do it right away. And for them too, with me at the beginning, I'm like, okay, we could do that.
In the
we'll
beginning,
make that work.
wow.
So everyone had like a different process system. And
in the beginning, we just took basically
everything.
everything, like management whores,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
in the hood, not in the
Everything
hood, just
ever.
whatever. And it was
When we
ate a lot of
started,
shit.
we would offer, no joke,
Yeah.
we would offer to split up security deposits. Like, you don't have to give me all this money
Right.
at once. Like, that
To the
seems
tenants, to the
tough,
applicants.
you know, to the tenants. Like, no.
But I had one tenant that I would pick up the rent 6 times. Like I would go 6 times in a
Yeah.
month to get like 200 this
Yeah.
day or this week. Next week I get another like 175. Another week 236.50. Like I'd have to like add up to 1,200 in like a 6 visit. It was silly. It was.
We could do a whole like podcast series on
Right.
stories.
You know-
Oh my gosh, like the craziest. We have a book where like we in
Are
our
you?
not an official book, but we have a folder in the computer that has like
The
all
PM
these
book, yeah,
crazy
for sure.
stories. But
Eventually.
eventually we'll have to do
No,
that.
but our first clients were like during like the 08, like when it crashed and it was REO, everything was 50 a foot, so we got a lot of clients and, these clients were looking for like houses that are like under 100,000, whatever their mentors were telling. They really should have bought all the nice houses, at 50, 60, 80 a foot even, but instead they bought all the houses in the hood or whatnot. We won't go into specifics where, but like, we had a lot of shit with those owners. We matured into being so picky and caring about the energy we're around because we had a lot of owners that just treated us like shit, treated people like shit, didn't care. They were just like investors that don't care. And it was horrible because we're the ones who get the butt
So
of it.
an owner of a property can treat how many people badly? They could treat you as the manager badly,
Right.
your vendors,
Our vendors,
your
right.
staff,
the tenant.
the tenant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty much.
Did we say
Right.
the property?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Well,
They
I
could be
mean-
like, I don't want to fix this,
Right.
and
So they're not taking
Right.
care of the property. So
Unrealistic, right? Like either they're cheap or they just don't have money, which, now we don't even take owners if we sense. If they're telling us in the intake, like, yeah, I don't really have money. I live off this income or, like then we're already like, we're not the right ones
or
for you.
we help them sell it.
Yeah.
Mm.
You
Like,
know,
maybe you should
like,
sell it if you're
yeah.
living off the income because that doesn't make sense. Like this should not be the case.
Yeah.
So you do management.
Yeah.
You do leasing in the sense of the properties that you manage, you help find tenants for,
Yeah.
and you list homes for sale,
Mhm.
and do you help buyers buy homes also? So you have all those.
Yeah.
Go buy it,
Any-
help sellers, and
So
our day-to-day is the property management. you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's our bread and butter, and it's been a blessing. I got into real estate, and the market just went up, and I was like, "Oh,
This is so easy."
right?" And coming from the Bay Area, the prices were so high, and I truly still believe in Vegas. So I'm like, "We're just catching up." So when the market stopped, I was like in crazy shock. I had 3 houses. I was like 24 years old, and my income stopped, and I had an ARM loan. So my mortgage payment doubled. Tenants no longer could pay because I had the worst tenants because, again, I was offering no deposit,
Minimal screening.
no screening. Like, that's just, it was ridiculous.
Mm.
Yeah.
And I ended up actually going bankrupt at 25 years old. And I thought, like, it was so depressing and sad. And Adi got me through it and like really just like boosted me and was like, just keep going. This happened. So many successful people have gone through bankruptcy and I learned a lot. Again, real estate, like all my ups and downs, I've learned so much through it. So I wasn't great with my own properties either. And
Me neither.
and he wasn't great with his properties, but I was more protective of like him and his family. And like, I understood better how to be a property manager for other people to protect them and do it though in a nice way. Cause tenants are obviously going through something too. If they can't pay their rent and their housing is on the line, that's a hard situation too. So, but there's a way to like help each other understand each other's like situation and do it with a kind heart and kind words and figure something
Because
out.
it's not all
Everything's
business.
figured
They're
out.
like, oh, it's just business. Well, no.
No.
Property management, you're dealing with people's homes, like their safety, their everything. Like it's not business. It's very personal.
Yeah.
There's nothing more personal than property management. And you just can't treat it like, oh, it's just business, And those are the clients we won't even touch.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
if you don't have a heart, if you don't care, like it's like
If you're not kind.
if you're not
Yeah.
kind.
So powered by kindness,
Yes.
it's part of your work culture. It's your branding. It's your identity as a company. You guys go so far as to call it a movement.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
All right. So what is powered by kindness and who came up with it?
Well, we both did. I read a book, Delivering Happiness by Tony Hsieh, and I just loved everything about it. And we were already doing business in the way we're okay, we have to like, still be nice to everyone, even when you're going through an eviction. Those are people's darkest times. So we have to do that in a delicate way. And I was talking to Adi about the book, and he was like, we're powered by kindness. And it was like, yeah. So we kind of just came up with it together. And then he was so smart to like put it on t-shirts. And when he would go out and wear his t-shirts, I mean, the responses, because everybody wants love and kindness. Everybody in the world, good guys, bad guys, everybody in the world wants love and kindness. And so whenever he wears it, he's kinder because he's wearing the shirt. You can't be a jerk wearing
Can't be an asshole
shirt.
wearing a Powered by Kindness
Yes.
shirt. It doesn't make sense.
Reading it are like, oh my God, I love that. And so they're nice too. And then
I've literally seen people's demeanor change walking into like a business, like whether the restaurant or a gas station. And I could tell like the cashier is like a major bitch and does it like bad mood. Like I'm like, oh, fuck. But the minute they see my shirt, no matter what mood or how they feel, they literally cannot be jerks to me because they're reading what I'm pushing. And
you also have a gift. Like, it could be like the meanest looking person, and Adi will talk to them and just like,
I like to crack them.
Get them to laugh, smile, and you're like, wait, this person's so nice, like it's a gift.
If I can do only one thing and just make people laugh and crack their sadness and make them smile, I'm super happy. Like I've done what I needed to do today. I could do nothing but make somebody laugh, smile, change their mood, and I'm golden.
Yeah.
Between me and God, I'm like, let's do it. That's all.
Sure.
That's all I can do. I'll do it. Unfortunately, that doesn't pay the bills yet.
Yeah.
Do you do stand-up comedy?
No. I have to wait till I'm old enough to blame it on my age. Like, oh, this guy's a fucking maniac.
I think you're there.
No.
No?
Thank
He
you.
has notes.
I have notes. I've been taking notes.
On the kids.
I do want to.
His family, me, everybody.
What's one of your bits?
Everybody.
What's one of your bits? Let's workshop it
Like
right
kids.
now.
Kids? Okay,
Yeah.
so kids. We went to Disneyland, right? And then Disneyland makes you realize Disneyland makes you realize a lot of things. Disneyland makes you realize which kid you like better. Disneyland makes you realize you didn't smoke enough weed. Kids take the fun out of everything. Kids yell at you like you're getting fired. Like I have a whole list on my, like honestly, I've been taking notes. We won't get into the notes, but yeah, like it's so much.
Why do kids make you feel like you're getting fired?
Notes. What's that?
Why do they make you feel like you're getting fired?
Oh, the way they talk to me, the way they yell at me. Like the way they, I didn't ask for ketchup. I don't want fries. Like, fuck you. You're fired. You and your fucking fries. Get out of here. Like, what the fuck? So you don't want fries. What do you want? Just tell me. For the love of God, I just want to go back and not here. I try not to make eye contact with them. It's that fucking crazy. These fucking kids.
Does the shirt not work on your kids?
No. They're like, no comprende nada. Fuck you, Abba. No, it's all love. They have the shirts too. They get it. They get the movement. They know we're big on that. I mean, Cassie, like I said, like she's the boss. Cassie's, the matriarch, the boss. Like she's keeping the kindness. She's the director of kindness at the Moore Group and at home.
I try.
I mean, let's see. Like you guys walk the talk.
Yes, I know.
You guys came here. You gave me this. You brought us donuts first of all for the whole office.
Yes.
I took them. I put them in the back. Pink box donuts. Roman was so excited. He followed me back there. He took the poop one.
Yeah.
He was showing everyone. They were taking Instagram pictures of it.
Yeah.
But you guys brought this bag.
Yes.
I got the Jewish version, the Hebrew version of the Powered by Kindness.
Yeah.
So that I actually told the rabbi. I'm like, Rabbi, you should have this shirt, right? Like every rabbi should have that, but what am I going to do? Maybe I'll just get it for them.
Mitzvahs all day.
Mitzvahs all day.
Yeah.
Is this in the frame? I don't know.
You got that one, yeah?
Powered by Kindness on the back.
Yes.
This is amazing. But it's not just one shirt.
No.
There's for you, your wife, and your 3 kids.
Isn't it crazy?
And then there's Powered by Kindness and Mitzvahs all day. We just threw that in there.
The movement. I got to put this on for the rest of this.
Oh.
I love it. I mean, that's like you anyway.
You're big in the Jewish community, and you walk around and people see that. You know, that or this shirt, I challenge you to wear it as often as you can and report back to me the feedback.
Yes.
Because it's phenomenal. Like
a hat that says Powered by Kindness.
We do have, but we ran out, but we will get you one then. Yeah, we're about to re-up and get. Look, the whole movement that we say is we're just trying to motivate. So that's another one of our domain names or our shirt is Motivate Kindness. So Powered by Kindness is how we do it at the Moore Group.
Yeah.
And how we want, like, whatever it is that you do it with kindness. That's like we're pushing that on other businesses. Like, hey, you're in business. God bless you. Do your thing, but be powered by kindness, right? But the other one is Motivate Kindness. And that's like our movement where we just pay for church and the message and we just give it out, and we're just trying to motivate that, motivate kindness, just motivate people to be kind, like, the be kind, all that stuff. Like, it
We
really,
live it.
we love it,
Yeah.
like, look at that. I love
Mitzvahs
that.
all day.
Mitzvahs all day, right? I mean,
Mitzvahs
don't you
all
feel like-
day. I do.
and
Yeah.
what's better than that,
Is this trademark stuff? Is this where are we at with this stuff? It sounds like you've got a
It's hard to trademark
business
or-
plan around this.
Right, it's hard to trademark or copyright like a sentence, But our goal is, because we have the domain name motivatekindness.com and poweredbykindness.com. Our goal is to, if we can, get people to buy these shirts so we could take the proceeds after the cost, of course, and donate it to like local organizations and charities like here in town. So when they're like, well, how are you motivating kindness? And well, you buying that shirt, number one, you're wearing it.
Mhm.
So visually you're spreading that message and getting people to like see that, like, oh, I like that. And maybe they'll motivate kindness or be kind. Number two, we're taking money and we're actually donating it to charities like Nevada Partnership for Homeless Youth or 3 Square or Safe Nest. So, we pick like 6, 7, 8 local organizations, and the proceeds, a portion of it will go to that. But it's really a visual, on our building on Eastern in Henderson, it used to say the Moore Group Real Estate Services.
Mm-hmm.
And then we took off the real estate services, and it says the Moore Group, and it says Powered by Kindness. And it's on Eastern, and the whole world coming down from Anthem Mountain up and down all day. There's a light right in front of a building, and everybody sees that. And you know what? If it makes one person be kinder that day, changes their mood, like, yeah, you know what? Fuck it, maybe I should be kinder to this situation, whatever they're dealing with. If we change one person a day, we feel great. And that sign, it really made that happen, because we run into people and they're like, oh, you're the Powered by Kindness people. I see your building. I see it. So I know that it's getting eyes, and I mean, so that's the movement,
You just feel good and feel right. type of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. I'm no rabbi,
Mhm.
but I will spread the message,
That's another good line.
Yeah. You like that?
That's a good one. Yeah.
Okay. We'll get back to that. Make sure.
So
I
is
get
this
a-
the gist of what you wrote about in the book, the Woman's Mindset
I
book?
did. I wrote, it was about doing business with kindness in everything you do, because everyone's going through something. And, there's no reason not to do business with kindness. Anything you do in life. We do career day also at our kids' school. And I say, whatever you do, just do it with kindness. Like, you don't have to be a realtor, property manager, but whatever you do, do it with kindness, because that's what everybody wants. And it's better to do business that way. It doesn't mean you can't make money. It doesn't mean you can't be strict and you can't get your, job done and be successful. But you can do it in a nice way. I mean, this last week, we had 4 people, I think 2 were tenants, 2 were owners, that just out of the blue, someone's like, I rented from you in 2018. You guys are the best property managers. Do you have something else? And it just feels so good.
We may not even be the best property managers, but we're powered, but we're kind.
Yes.
Mhm.
And they remember that over
Mhm.
everything. We could have been the worst. I
We've
don't know,
gone
but we're not.
we don't go to court anymore. We rarely have any evictions anymore
remember
because
those?
we screen really well. But whenever we would go to court, oh my God, my biggest fear, my heart would be pounding. I'd be so scared. We'd come prepared like we were lawyers. We'd go in front of the judge, and the other party, 2 times this happened.
Yeah, yeah.
And we didn't go very often. It was maybe the 2 times. The first thing the tenant goes, I have no problem with the Moore Group. They're great. I just can't pay my
Yeah.
rent. And
Literally,
I'm
at
like,
eviction court,
oh.
telling the judge,
yeah.
these guys are great. I just needed time.
I
And
didn't
that's
see any
what
of
it's
those
all
videos on your social media.
I know, but they don't let you. They
That
really
would
don't
be a
want
good
your
one.
phones
tried.
on in court.
Yeah.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
But-
Can I get the recording from the
Yes,
from the court?
literally. I'm like,
I
"Give me
wish.
some outside."
Yeah.
But anything you do, you can do it with kindness. You can even evict somebody kindly. It sounds crazy, but everything you do, you can like break the news to an owner they need a new water heater or AC unit with kindness. I mean, our team members are magical in that way also. We don't get complaints from owners about them. They just really, we break bad news. We're dealing with all the problems from tenants, owners, and properties, and
Yeah.
you just figure it
You guys remember Care Bears?
Of course.
Yeah.
Remember when they do the Care Bear
Cassie's love
stare?
It
She loved Bear.
That's what
was my
I tell
costume this Halloween.
Was it Care Bears?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's
Do
so
we
funny.
remember Care Bears?
But yeah, they unite at the end.
Yeah, so like for anyone who doesn't know Care Bears, it's a cartoon, bunch of bears, and there's like the Care Cousins or whatever, but they each have a symbol in their belly, and like I think every plot was pretty much the same. There's some happy moment and then some challenging moment, and then they all have to come together and do the Care Bear stare where they shoot
They all
from their icon, from their belly, this ray of light, and they all bring them together, and it like overpowers whatever the thing is. So I'm getting this crazy vision about the two of you and like your journey and where you've been, and it like has a crescendo in the Care Bear. So you like lived in this prison on Santa Ana for 3 years and like saw the worst of the worst and the energy that you talked about that you just didn't want to have in your life at all.
Yeah.
And Cassie, you had your own experiences with bankruptcy, and you said it was depressing and like you really had to fight through that. You know, you found success in your life and then it was completely taken away. And I'm sure it was shook you to the core. And now you have this Care Bear platform, the More Group.
Well, look, life is too short to be an asshole. You know, like.
Well, that's like the combination though of these two life experiences and what you talked about now. So powered by kindness means everyone you work with has to have this kind of philosophy. Yeah. So people call you and say, we want you to hire us. That's like your source of revenue is a homeowner saying, hire me for management, but you screen them.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want bad energy in the More Group.
Yeah.
And we can tell.
Tenants, you screen the tenants. You don't have evictions or they've been eliminated or completely reduced. Right. I imagine your vendors that you call,
because once you approve them, if they meet all the qualifications, you can't deny them because I looked you up in social media and you seem like a real asshole. Like you can't deny them although I'd love NRS to include like that, something
like a jerk,
if they're
jerk clause,
something. But you can't. But you don't renew them.
You have a process, and then you're okay. So
and
you
we don't renew them, and the owner knows why. It's not like we're tricking them, telling them, oh, they don't want to renew. We tell them this tenant is a real asshole, and the owners usually they already know because they see like all the main whatever it is that they're doing, it gets relayed to the owner. So all our owners are on board. If we think they're bad energy, assholes, rude, not the ones we want, we move them out, and the owner will eat up a month of vacancy and a new tenant placement commit, all that just to get the right energy in there. And that's that's all we
How long do you think it took you guys in your 10-year span to get to this place where you're just disciplined about who you work with, or you're even financially able?
Yeah.
Right.
I think when we opened our company and we had our new baby.
Because the More Group stemmed from a bad situation that we had in our old broker.
Yeah.
The way like we broke up was hella like that's when we realized, like, man, she's a bitch.
Yeah.
Like, how do you treat people like that?
Yeah.
And we won't go into the details because she's still an active broker. Mm-hmm. But she was so rude and such a bitch, and we're like, wow, and she really like was that person that we never want to like work around or just And
I went right into PPD, postpartum depression, after my first baby, and so we really, and just like being hippies, like
good energy.
We really are about that energy. So I think when we opened our company, we were immediately like, okay, this has to be. We got rid of an owner who had 20 properties. It was our biggest one, a big income source for us, but he wasn't nice.
He was rude. He was cheap.
No one wanted to talk to him. So it was like, okay, you know what? There's no amount of money worth that kind of stress. I mean, life is so short. And then, the past 6 years, we've lost his mom, my mom and dad. And so we've dealt with so much death, and my aunts and oh my gosh.
It's like the more trauma that happens,
so much
the
trauma.
harder and the stricter and the more we make sure we're keeping the right energy.
Yeah.
Like, we're like, man, life is like moving fast. It's super short. Like, I don't want to spend, nobody's paying us a lot of money to do property management, right? Like, we're not managing the wing, so like in that, we have to really
but they all think that they're paying you.
Oh, they think. Like, the owner that we got rid of had 21 properties that I handpicked during the REO days for him. I built that portfolio for him. But he was so rude and so cheap. I mean, it came to the point where like he's like, hey, I'm here. Meet me at this property, and I'd meet him there. And he'd roll up in 20 properties, roll up in a Mercedes, pop the trunk, pull out the tools, trash bags, and he'd have me like pull weeds with him instead of paying the landscaper. Yeah. He'd drive from LA to do like the little rehab.
Which is fine for him to do, but then to expect him to do it with no compensation,
just have
which
me, like,
takes
meet me
him
there.
away from like buyers, sellers, or PM.
It was the silliest. And we're like, ew, that's horrible. And it was just a lot of like, also like, again, we're solving problems, right? And if like, you could solve a problem like the cold, hard way, by the law, right?
Yeah.
There's the law. This is it. That's it.
Yeah.
No. Or you could be sensible, man.
Yeah.
Like, like be reasonable, be sensible.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we can't even deal with, like, we don't want to deal with you. There's no reason, I'm sure you too, with MDL,
Yeah.
I'm sure you don't have any clients that you manage for that are rude to your staff or to you or cheap and won't make repairs.
Correct.
Because it just doesn't even make sense.
And we have people that they maybe have a bad moment.
Bad
But
moments
they-
are
all
different.
have bad
Right.
moments.
And it's how
oh
you
my
come
gosh,
back out
yes.
of it. It's how you pedal out of it.
Yeah.
And there are people with different owner philosophies.
Yes.
And so part of the puzzle of being a property manager is understanding the person you're talking to, what makes them tick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are certain people that, my property must be pristine at all costs.
Right.
Mhm.
Costs being the dollar. There are some that, they're
I have to
wealthier,
get this return.
but their game, so to speak, maybe not a game, but the way that they've earned a living and made their wealth is by being frugal.
Yes.
Mhm.
We have a property manager. We were in a meeting once, and he's like, "Look, I'm frugal, but I'm not cheap."
Right.
I was like, you know what? That's
Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes
I like
sense.
that.
Sensible.
I will use your money as resourcefully,
Right.
Yeah.
but there's a line where now you're being cheap.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. And
No.
we were there, just
Mhm.
experienced to like,
It's true. And you
We don't want
learn
that.
because no matter what, of course, you have to do the law and then you work everything out. But we do all have moments and
Mhm.
that's big. And raising kids, you really learn that. Oh my gosh. Like,
oh my goodness.
and it's funny. And I was saying that, like, I was just talking about that. Marriage is so interesting in the sense that you're going through each other's bad moments, good moments, moods that come out of nowhere that you don't even sometimes know where this bad mood came from. And
The kids.
you're hoping you sometimes, but no, sometimes and you're just hoping
You're
your
ruining my
partner
life.
gives you grace.
The gift and the curse.
Yeah.
No, I mean.
No, they're amazing. But you do, and then you have their moods, and you might be in the best mood, but their really bad mood
Yep.
triggers yours, and it's about getting through it and knowing take that break and that space, and
Mhm.
Yeah.
So funny. So I'm a young parent, right? I came in here one day and I'm asking my team, like, do I yell? They're like, no, you don't yell. You're cool.
But
Like,
at home,
never
you
lose
find
your
yourself
cool. I'm
yelling?
like, it's like a switch goes off,
Oh.
and all of a sudden I'm like yelling. I'm like, what just happened?
Kid.
What just happened?
Cassie
You're
likes
like,
to
this
call
isn't even
the
a
kids mood killers.
sometimes
killers.
it can be.
I walk around the house yelling like
even,
fucking
you know.
Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor in the 80s. You motherfucker, what the fuck? Like, and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing?
Who am I?
How did I get here? And it's only them. I don't yell when I'm just with Cassie or at the job or at the office.
I feel like you need this right now. Keep going. Keep going.
One time, I yelled at a tenant, old lady.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
the craziest thing. Like, it sounds like, wow, he's a asshole. Like, what do you mean you yelled at an old lady? But one time, I yelled in the office place 2 times. One at the old broker right before we told her, fuck off, we're opening up our own shit. You're a rude fuck. But in
a powered by kindness kind of way?
that wasn't
No.
even a nice way. That was just like she was horrible. But I did yell at an old lady. It was probably not, but the reason I yelled at her is because she came into my office and started yelling at all my staff and being rude. And it's something snapped in me, like I couldn't believe there's somebody in front of me who has the audacity to just talk like this, number one, and like yell and be rude. And I was like, what? And I just like lost it on her. I was like, I was like, let's put it this way. Cassie had to like pull me to the other room.
Oh, you wanted to
She
fight.
went in there and no, I'm just yelling so much at her.
You're ready to fight.
that
That's
no,
good.
that
I like
just,
this.
I don't know what I'm ready. Yeah, I'm not ready to fight an old lady. I was hoping one of my lady staff members would jump in and beat her up, but no, nobody did. Nobody beats up anyone.
go.
Nobody beats up anyone.
How often do you have to say that he's kidding? Because you know that he's
Yeah,
kidding.
I want to
but-
have
Make
a
a shirt.
shirt that says
He's kidding.
Yeah, so we have mitzvahs all day,
Yeah.
powered by kindness, motivate kindness, and he's kidding.
Yeah, literally, yes.
But
All
yeah,
the time.
it was like, I don't know if you ever had to yell at a client or a tenant, but it only happened once to me, and
we have absolutely fired clients
Yeah.
because it's like,
yeah,
and they what's funny, so male dominated industry, you could stereotype the kind of people who own commercial properties.
Mhm.
There's a couple I could think about and very clearly. And you call them, you're like, look, the way that you spoke to so and so is not acceptable. It's not how we do business. We don't tolerate that, and we are parting ways.
Yeah.
It's not even like we think that. No, we are
Yeah.
parting ways.
Can't even go back from that.
And they're like, What did I say?
Yes.
Right.
They have no idea.
Yes.
They don't realize.
Yeah.
Because to them, like you could talk back to them in the same manner and they don't internalize it like that. But not okay is not okay.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Another shirt.
So you mentioned something and there's like a build up here for the question. So bear with me. So you and I were just at a event recently together. It's the Jewish Nevada men's event. Yes. So Jewish Nevada is an organization that raises money and gives it out back into the community for various causes. And we started 6 years ago this men's event where every other month or so we get together. We do some cool things. This particular one was Bob Arum, the boxing promoter. It was like a fireside chat with him in a restaurant downtown. Do you know it's a Wolfgang Puck restaurant that we were in?
I didn't know.
I didn't either.
Main Street, right? 12.
On Main Street.
That's what it was.
It's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to serve 40 some odd people and it'd be good. I mean, it's hard to get all the food out but it was all amazing. Yeah. So we had the whole restaurant and you and I start chit chatting and whatnot. And I left there, the energy, right? I was like, I got to get Adi onto the podcast. And I was thinking as I'm calling you and saying,
now you're like, what the fuck did I do?
No. No, I was like, Cassie should come too. But then like the brain starts and like the logistics and I've never had 2 people and I don't even know how to have 2 people and there's more microphones. And I just kind of like the mental load took over and I left it. And so when I ask someone to come on the podcast, all I need is your current bio and I take it from there and I send you back what we're going to talk about. And so I'm like, give me your bio. And you're not the kind of person that has a resume.
Which bio?
Yeah. No, it's funny. So like, let me put it together. And then you called me and you're like, look, I'm putting it together, but like everything in my bio, there's Cassie there too.
I mean, Cassie did this.
Me and Cassie did that. I'm like, can Cassie? I'm like, all right, Cassie needs to be here. And like, so I call Cree. I'm like, Cree, 2 people. Cree's like, yeah, it's no problem. I should have just done that to begin with.
Oh, thank you.
But here we are. Yeah. And then I'm like thinking, so here you are and you guys work together. You're married. Yeah. And so I'm like researching. I'm researching this. I don't know if you know this. So the average amount of hours that married couples spend together is 2 to 2.5 hours a day per day during the work week and 5 to 6 hours on the weekend. So how many hours do you 2 spend together? What is it like for you guys?
So like, let's see, so how many hours do we have during the day? Let's say we wake up at, let's say
you sleep for, let's say 8 hours.
So we have 14 hours 16 hours we're working with. Then we'd probably be together 15 of those hours.
We're like always together.
If I could be in the bathroom next to her and continue, I would, but she won't let me do that.
Never.
And Cassie doesn't go to the bathroom.
What's funny is so we're always together, but yeah, sometimes I have a appointment that I need to go to or something and vice versa him. But what's funny is sometimes we'll be talking and I'm getting ready to leave the house and I'm like, okay, I call him and then we're talking in the car on the way to that place. And then I go do whatever I need or him. Whatever he needs. But we just, and it's, I don't know, it's like just so sort of natural.
Like invalid that needs like,
but it's crazy how much we have to talk about. Like we are just always brainstorming and thinking and talking and reflecting and learning and everything together. Yeah.
It's disgustingly crazy. That's what I'm telling you. Like people.
That's why your homies are like, you're gross.
What the fuck? Yeah. I'm embarrassing people in front of their wives. They're like, how come you don't spend time with me like that? I don't know, how am I going to tell them like your wife is not as fun as, No, look, we're in the same business. Right. So like a lot of couples, one does this, one does that. So, I mean, obviously 8 hours of the day, they're gone. 8 hours, they're sleeping. Then there's 8 hours left. There's kids, there's this or that. How many? They don't have a choice but to only be together 2-3 hours. So I get that. But we're in the same business ever since we started. Like I told you, like we'd look up the auction, we'd go in the car and drive around. And then the next day I'm at the auction and, we're always together. In the same business, bouncing back. And I think that's how we can survive property management too. Because all the problems that happen and all the things that come up, we're able to talk about it. Like I'm able to talk to my partner. So you're
processing it.
At home, in vacation, in the pool, at a restaurant, at the office. Like we're always able to chop it up and process it, figure out things. And that just, makes us better, but also makes us more confident and feel at ease. So we're not, the property managers that are outside on the phone smoking 12 cigarettes per minute because they're fucking stressed and, like they're losing their fucking mind.
You make it sound so glamorous.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, those guys. You're obviously not one of those. I'm saying there are. I used to have an office and I would literally see one walk. Remember that?
I know you're talking about somebody very specific.
Yes, but I've seen dozens of these.
Yeah.
Because we're able to like always, talk to each other.
Yeah.
It makes it a lot. Everything, life. The trauma of, everything just makes it better, and easier for us personally. Some people don't like their wives like that or their husbands and they, and they don't want to spend that kind of time. But like, I have boys that are like, come on, boys trip, this, that. I'm like, well, I want to bring Cassie. I'm like, you're telling me finally I get to go on a vacation on a trip. I don't have to deal with these motherfucking kids.
Yeah.
And I can't bring Cassie. Cassie wants to come too. She doesn't, I can't, I don't even understand the boys trip because that's my boy, that's my girl. That's like my number one homie. Like if I'm going to do something fun, I want my number one homie to come with me. And I've been shunned and dropped from many friends' list, but I'm okay. I'm happy with it. I'm smiling and happy and I'm in a good mood and just keeping the good energy, trying to do mitzvahs all day, trying to motivate kindness. Everything else is bonus. I wake up, I'm free and I'm with Cassie. It's crazy. It's disgusting, huh?
No, I love you.
It's so cute. It's so cute.
Thin line between cute and disgusting. But I'll stay on the cute side.
So the other thing, I'm preparing all this,
Yes.
and here's something else that occurred to me. Like I've known you guys for decades, not years, like decades. We're in the same communities, real estate, Jewish community, some friends we all have. My sister, tons of others. I refer you property management. You guys refer us commercial stuff.
Yes.
There's like a paradox though. I've known you forever, but I don't really know you.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I know, isn't that crazy?
Isn't it nuts?
Invite us over to Shabbat.
After this, we're gonna
That's it.
be BFFs.
So I looked this up. There's a thing.
Yeah.
It's called familiar stranger. We're familiar strangers.
Yeah.
I've never heard of this term. I looked it up. Did I write the definition? Of course not. I should have.
I think it's self-explanatory by the words.
Yeah, but it was actually like, I'm not just putting two words together to describe it. I looked at, I'm like, is there a phenomenon that exists? Like I've known you guys for literally ever.
Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't know you were from originally Chicago and the Bay Area and all that until I'm writing this stuff out. I'm like, how do I not know this about them? And
Yes.
anyway.
I know. It's so crazy, but it's true. When I see you or your wife, I'm like, oh, hi.
It's like family in a way. It's like, these are my cousins. You might as well be like cousins from,
Literally.
and whenever we see each other,
Yes.
it's that kind of like,
Yeah, definitely.
So there's another term that I learned putting this together. It's called nostalgia memory. There's different types of memories.
Mm-hmm.
I read an article once about memory, and it's really fascinating about how much we don't know or believe we know about memory. It's not true. Like you guys probably have a shared memory. Like Jared and I, we have a shared, there's the era in my life, the same one when you were in boot camp.
Yeah.
I don't remember a lot of that era because I was extracurricular activities while I was going to UNLV.
Right.
In the Vegas
Something
nightclubs.
about UNLV.
Yeah, right?
Yes.
And it's like that literally, like the memory is outsourced to Jared.
Yeah.
And like couples have this too,
Yes.
where it's like husbands and wife. Well, what was her name? What was his name? Who were we with?
Yes.
But there's a thing called nostalgia memory, which is a memory that you revisit with fondness, often tied to a specific time or relationship in your life. Typically comforting, brings a sense of warmth or longing for a past experience.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a nostalgia memory about you.
Me?
Yeah. I think about it pretty frequently.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going to show it to you.
No way.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh.
just excited. I'm just happy
And
to
you're
hear that
gonna
you think
show
about
it. I love this.
pretty frequently. I love it. Oh no! What is this?
I have
memory?
one of you
With
when
the-
you started your podcast, and I remember waking up, seeing the email that you were announcing you were doing a podcast, and I was like, "That is so cool! I'm so excited! I can't wait to hear all of them." Yeah,
Huh?
I know.
Interesting.
Yes.
Yeah. That's funny. Okay. Yeah. I know. Yes. That is.
No,
Yeah.
it's a Facebook
Yes.
The post
video
yeah.
that you posted. This
Yeah.
is in 2016.
Is it 2016? Wow.
It says.
Yeah.
Wow.
You're right.
July 1, 2016.
Wow.
So
That's
I
crazy.
see this thing. It says, the rent man on rent day.
Alex. Yeah.
The volume up here.
Yeah. 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 You don't do this? I feel like everybody does this in their car. No?
I think we all do our version of this,
Yeah.
but I
This is and the
since
glasses.
2016,
Yeah.
like the influence on my life that this has.
He puts you in a good mood.
Like I think about it from time to time. It doesn't just put me in a good mood. Like I've got these moves now.
Yeah. I love it.
With the glasses.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love it. I'm glad. You know what? This all goes to like the whole motivate. You know, like if I can make one person laugh, I won. I'm winning. You know, I'm no scientist. I'm no brainiac, but I
What's
do
with
have
the glasses. They're flying off your head the whole.
Yeah, those are the eye doctor glasses you get after like cataract, like LASIK.
Is
or
that what they
something.
were?
Yeah. It's silly.
That's what
I
they
thought you
are
took
for.
her
He
glasses.
does not have any eye problems.
No, I
Those
just
are
wore
Why do
them.
you have these?
What's that?
Why do you have these?
No, so Cassie made me stop getting them.
Yes.
She said I look like a fucking
Oh, you would
nut.
actually get them to wear them.
Yes.
No, I was just walking around with
That
these
was
glasses.
his like.
Yeah, I call them my
Yes.
Sam Rothsteins.
Yes.
From the movie Casino, De
Yeah,
Niro had those
yeah.
glasses. That's where I was trying to
This move
duplicate.
right here. This is the move.
There's a couple good moves.
Yes.
And the swimming was one of my favorites. The swimming, I was swimming backwards. It's actually one of my favorite posts. And song Maniac.
Well, you've said maniac
Yeah.
probably more than any other word, even more than kindness today.
Yeah.
I was gonna come up with a clothing line called American Maniac.
Okay.
Yes.
We'll talk about that, But yeah, thank you. I'm glad to be a part of your nostalgic memory.
There's
It's
like
really
there's like 2 or 3 more, but this is
right.
Yeah.
Okay, the other one
there's the
we can't
one you
show.
guys started doing on your Instagram. You started showing like everyone does these where they do like a home tour.
Yeah.
You kind of like the camera starts from the outside of the house and like
When I
fast
do-
forwards to the door,
So it flips
and then you open the door,
Yes.
and so you put your guys' spin on it, the more spin on it.
Yeah, I don't know where it comes from.
So it's like it's following you through the house, and you're like, instead of walking from the door through the living room to the kitchen, you do like a somersault, a roll.
Somersault, yes.
Yes.
I remember
So
that.
funny. I think about that frequently too. I couldn't find it
is so
on,
Okay, no, I
because
know
it's so old now
exactly.
on your
Yeah,
Instagram.
That's funny. Yeah.
And then there was another Jewish Nevada men's event that we went to at the
At the-
Allegiant
Yeah,
Stadium.
the Raiders. Oh, yeah, we
And
were
you-
doing stuff on the field.
You were doing stuff on the
You
field.
weren't part of that?
No, yeah, so it's like
I broke you that day. You
50,
jumped
60
in.
Jewish guys at Allegiant getting a tour. It was already open, but it's like a private tour through the place. And we're on the field.
I think like
And-
Itai or Tom like tackled me too or
Yeah,
something. I think they were part of it.
So you've got videos of this too, right?
Yeah.
And like you took on this alter ego in these videos as if like you're there. You're like posting stories. It's like, oh, I'm here. They want me to play for the Raiders.
Right.
I guess I'll do it. I don't know. I'm looking around. It looks okay here. You're like just so nonchalant. You're like 50 million.
Yeah.
I'll do it for 50 million. And then you're like, the next video, it's not edited. It's like, you're like, hey, I need you to tackle me. You're telling me I need you to tackle me for like, so you're like out of character and then you go back into character. You get tackled as if you're like taking this hit
Right,
from
right.
another Jewish guy,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
let's face it, we're not known for our
No.
athleticism.
No, not at all.
And then we're in the locker room
Yeah.
and you're like, this is the
Yeah.
locker they
This
want to
guy's
give
like,
me, I guess.
Whatever.
It was Devontae Adams' locker. You're
I
like,
remember. Good. I love it. Well, that's the point of it. Whatever
so
it is that I do.
you come up with these alter egos.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Is it alter or is it just my ego?
That's
I don't
just
know.
him, and that's why I'm like always entertained by him. I never get bored, and it's easy to
And you
be
always have
with
to tell
him all
people
the time.
he's kidding. He's kidding.
And I always do. Yeah, when it gets too much, I'm like, oh, he's kidding.
Because they don't know he's in character. He's clearly in character.
I mean,
Especially people you just meet, and sometimes if they're a little more serious.
scary thing is
So
like
I
Liv,
just-
our 6-year-old, is literally that. Like I see her doing
Yeah.
me, and I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be crazy. It's gonna be wild.
It's wild when your kids do
Yeah.
their version of you.
Yeah.
But it's them.
It's funny.
And
Yeah.
Mia too. Mia's super funny
she
and
does
does the
crazy
faces,
faces.
like you.
Yeah, she'll pull out.
What's a face Mia
Oh,
makes?
Like a
Oh,
little
yeah.
crazy like
Cassie, you
Ace
do it.
Ventura face.
No, I don't want to.
Cassie's
Yeah,
face is
you
like
do
the
it.
distraught face.
Yeah.
Do that one. That one. Like, I can't fucking believe it.
I can't.
All the time. Yeah, like she got that I can't fucking believe it face. Yeah.
So you have this alter
But
ego.
what's crazier, Chaim? Sorry
What's
to interrupt.
crazier?
What's
Go ahead.
crazier, me or the one who married me?
I hate that question.
You hate that?
It's a
question?
philosophical. This is a philosophical
It's deep.
question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we'll leave it at that. I don't need
The
an
next step. Next time we do this, part 2, we'll get into
You can
that.
text me later and tell me what you think.
Oh my goodness.
So one of your alter egos is the Rent Man.
Yes.
How did you create this? Who is this? What is this?
I think like people in the street or tenants or people, I think people started calling me the rent man. And I think I referred to my dad too as growing up with him as him being a rent man. And I think in Coming to America, there was a scene where the guy comes in and he's the rent man.
Which scene is that?
So he comes into the apartment building. Where
yeah.
The guy falls down the stairs.
Yeah.
That's right.
He comes in, he's like, "Rent's due, motherfuckers!" And the guy falls down the stairs. He's like, "I ain't falling for the falling down the stairs shit either." And I was like, "Yeah, I love that dude."
But they didn't call him the rent man in there. You just
No,
that's the guy though.
Yeah, it was just like I've been like fascinated with the rent man since I was going with my dad at an early age to collect rent with him, and I don't know do you know how he came up with the rent man?
Like, I know like the dope man, and then you were like, rent man.
So it could have been a little bit of Eazy-E, dope man.
Yes.
NWA, the dope man. And I guess I went from the dope man to the rent man. Yeah. And I think somebody told me that once. They were like, "Oh, you went from the selling bricks to selling houses." And I'm like, and he's like, "Yeah, you went from the dope man to the rent man." And I was like, "Yeah, I guess I did." And then it just stuck with me. And then I got the domain name, and since I was able to get the domain name, I was like, you know what? I guess I am the rent man. And you're the rent man is everybody. You're the rent man. Anyone who owns a rental property or an investment property is the rent man. So it came from that, like the rent man.
There's also, if let's say you're not a property owner per se, but there's like it's someone who calls you to your responsibility, which we all have that. It's like that part of your conscious, where it's like I gotta pay the rent. I have to do this and that so I could pay the rent. Like. I guess another term today is adulting.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm still trying to learn that.
I'm still trying to teach that.
Yeah, she's trying to teach it. I'm trying to learn it. The kids are like, "What's going on here?" It's got to be funny. Like, it's funny from their point of view, I'm sure. Like, they got Cassie on one end. Like,
tell you the best.
We'll literally say two opposite things at once to them.
Yeah. Like, "Don't do that." I'm like, "Go hard on that fucking shit." And she's like, "Don't do it." It's literally, it's what? Like, they must be confused.
I don't have a outwardly like animated comedic side like you do. I have it for sure. Like my wife also has to tell people from time that he's kidding.
Okay, yes.
Like one of the best things that can happen to me is that one of my kids saying, "Dad, you're crazy."
Yeah. Right.
Perfect.
Like,
yeah. For sure.
Perfect.
For me, it's them like duplicating something I do. Because they think it's funny, and, I'm like, okay, cool, but then I'm like, oh fuck, like, oh my god, like I hope they grow out of it, maybe. I'm just a big kid at heart.
This rent man thing. Yes. So you started doing these posts, like the rent man.
So then,
and there are these like sayings about it. Yeah, first of every month.
That's what it was like. So, it started like 10 years ago, probably, and on the first of every month, I'd be like, hey, the rent man's coming. Basically, that's what I would say to people. The rent man's coming, so get ready or do whatever. Don't spend your money on the Super Bowl. Make sure you pay rent first. All sorts. Every month has its own post, and that's as good. It's been 10 years of times 12, 120 posts of the rent.
Are you still doing it every month?
Every month on the first.
Yeah.
So my algorithm isn't. It's probably going to start kicking back in now that we've been in proximity of each other.
Phones are close.
Correct.
Yeah, for sure. That and the FBI is probably going to raid my house tomorrow.
Do you have those? You mentioned like a property management book. We all have this like. One day we're going to write a property management book of the stories. So like in MDL group, we have one post a month about life as a property manager.
Property manager, right.
And it's like, oh, this month there's a goat wrapped in a blanket on the property. The goat was alive. And then it's like, here's what's crazier. So we're posting this, and like other property managers, of course, appreciate what we're doing because we're like bringing the crap that you deal with. They're like, you're never going to believe this one to life. But like so we post about this goat and we're like, do we do it? Do we not? Are we going to get, like, is PETA going to knock on our door? It's like, no, literally we manage a third party property management. It's a commercial property. We get a phone call because we're the property manager. There's something in the parking lot. You go and you see, and it's a goat, a live goat wrapped in a blanket.
Unbelievable.
And we post about this, and another property manager at another company said that happened to me. It's like,
whoa.
Local.
Oh my god!
Like
you can't make this up, but like, what is happening? Yeah, what is it like? Did the goat fall off the truck?
Guys' parking lot cover was like, I was like, oh my god!
So what happened there?
So glad
So a perpetrator was running from the police and ran from one property to the he's like jumping to the covered parking.
Oh, stop!
But it didn't hold his weight, and it's like now bowed in.
Yeah,
and he like stumbles off, keeps going.
Oh my god!
And so the picture. So think about like,
holy moly!
That's what.
I own I own commercial property. and this happens. Some perpetrator's running from one property to another, and like the property line is as such, the grade is like I can jump from one to the other.
Yeah.
And now who fixes that?
Right.
He's not fixing that.
Yeah.
The insurance doesn't fix that. Who do
Right.
you even call?
Right.
The owner.
You
You're
can-
upset.
Well, no, you call the property manager,
Yeah. Oh, of course.
right? The owner's in California or something,
And
right?
then
But like,
Who's gonna
has
fix
to-
it,
yeah.
though?
but who
Yeah.
gets that phone call?
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
The PM.
the
of
PM.
The
course.
2 a.m. call, there's a car outside of my shop flipped upside down. I have to open in 4 hours for business. How do you get this car out of here?
Right.
Well, you just call your property man.
Right.
Property managers are like superheroes.
Oh, and therapists.
And therapists and financial
Advisors.
advisors and
And-
marriage counselors
Consultants.
and lawyers.
Yeah.
Remember the people, they were getting a divorce and then they got back together within 6 hours. You remember that?
Oh my God.
It was hilarious.
We got so many calls back and forth. The husband called and then the wife.
No, first
and
the
then
wife called. She's
husband,
like,
and
fuck
the wife-
him.
Yeah.
I'm leaving him.
Yeah.
You guys can just cancel our lease. We're moving out.
Yeah.
Like this, that. And Cassie, of course, calls and to let's make sure like what's happening, this and that. And I think we went to like the pool.
Yeah.
And then
Well, we had 3 calls and then we went to the pool and we came back.
and there's a voice message. And she's like, okay, so me and John, we made up. It's all good.
Go to
Disregard
church.
everything. We're
gonna
gonna go to
work it
church
out.
and work
Yes.
it. All
Yeah.
that. And so, like, it was
Yeah.
insane. But yeah, that was a funny one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we
And
had
so
a
your
couple
book,
of-
you should, if you haven't like started documenting
So we
your
started
stories.
documenting like crazy stories, like, you know, like boob bunny.
Pictures.
There was
Yeah.
a tenant that would come and she would always pull the rent out of her bra, out of her
Yes.
boob. Like literally, she would every single like the girl doesn't know what a purse is, a wallet, I don't know, pockets, nothing. She'd go in here, pull out the money, and like we'd have to like open a bag and like drop it in here, you know, like we
That
don't
was
want
when
to
we
touch it.
took cash
Yeah, that was a long
at
time
the
ago.
beginning and then we would
Mhm.
photocopy each one as proof.
That was
The
a
serial
our
number?
receipt was a photocopy of the $1,200
Illegal,
bills.
You're not allowed to photocopy.
Apparently, you're not
money.
allowed to photocopy.
She's like, can I get gloves for like boob money? When
Yeah,
she
so
comes
boob
in?"
money
Oh.
was one of them.
I mean, we have so many.
Yeah,
we won't
yeah,
go
yeah, yeah.
into
We
it
won't
because
go-
we
yeah.
So
could
there-
really
there's that.
spiral.
Piece of literature, but I feel like there's also this Rent Man piece of literature that needs to be created.
Yeah.
What you've done with it, they're almost motivational and inspirational and like life coaching. It's like
Moments. Yeah.
moments.
Yes.
Do you know any off the top of your head? Do you remember any of them or no?
What, the post?
Yeah.
The Rentman post?
Yeah. Like
Oh,
you're talking about
there's
one.
so
like
many.
don't like it's around Super Bowl time. Like don't,
Right,
spend your rent on Super Bowl
money,
tickets.
Right? Like if you're, it was like if you're thinking about betting on the Super Bowl, don't pay your rent, then do whatever you want, or that kind of stuff. There's so many. There's so many. Do I?
That's what I'm saying. You need to put them somewhere.
Oh, I see. Like a digital.
you
all
need
the
maybe
posts, like maybe like a book of
Needs
all the
to be
posts.
published. Something needs to be published.
Yeah,
where like once a year it's like
every month.
I
Every
love
month.
Right,
that.
calendar
You
with
know,
like the
that's
rent
for
man.
every day, but maybe you just have 12.
A
So
little
you just-
calendar.
the first of the month.
You can give them to your tenants. All your tenants that you have. 300 tenants should get this thing.
Oh my god.
And your landlord should pay for it, I think.
That's
They
a
should
good-
fund it.
Add like a landlord fee for that to cover that.
Mhm.
It should be a
Yeah.
I think there's a idea here. You talked about selling merch for
For
you can
motivation.
can create calendars like a 1-a-day tear off thing for
Yeah,
tenants.
Something to that, yeah. Yeah, we'll talk about that.
This-
Something.
this-
Because like you bring
this we
from your
can do.
commercial side, it comes from the resident, we can merge something.
I think that's good.
No, it's stories for days, PM.
So I kind of want to get serious in this section,
Oh,
if that's
okay,
possible,
yeah.
to the extent that we can get serious.
Yeah,
But you guys are business owners,
Mhm.
and your Instagram has 22,543 followers as of yesterday when I looked. So talk to me about your view as business owners and how you use social media. And second, like follow-up question. I'm curious, like, do you see a straight line from your social media activity to whatever your KPIs are as a company? Like, do you get new contracts from owners? Do you find tenants? However else you have a line from social media to revenue as a company
So,
or other.
Regarding the social media, we had a post. It was a lower end property that was a rental. We've done it because your social media is now your digital business card where people find if you're relevant, active, real, a scammer, what people are saying about you. And one post, we went from, it took us a while to get to 1,000 followers, and we had one post really blow up. It got over 1 million views on a really low end property. And so it actually, our social media became something that we learned from. We read all the comments and what the people are speaking about, what they want. And that's how we got to the 22,000 plus people, because we were like, okay, this is what they're interested in. This is what the people are looking for. We wanted it to be our social media to get clients. We do not get clients per se from our social media.
Like we could
tenants, yes.
Tenants all day,
all day long,
but not owners.
Not owners, yeah, which is very interesting.
It's more to stay top of mind. Like it's to like our social media at this point is to like stay like top of mind awareness, with our brand basically.
And we learned, we see what they want, we see where the void is based on the comments. So we really do learn from it. It's not getting us business in that sense, but it's inspiring and making us think of other things that we need to do or is not being done, and what people like to see. And so we like to keep it up.
So what are some of so you listen to basically your audience, and then what are so the Rent Man is a piece of content that you guys produce. You promote your properties for lease as content. You're doing more as like business owner leadership, how we run the business kind of stuff.
Some videos for that, yeah. We don't get business from that either. Yes, but we put it out there in case that is. I mean, we'd love to get business that way.
No, but as business owners, how do you approach content creation and what kind of categories of content you're doing? Or are you guys just kind of like having fun, or are you more
doing everything? And then, but we're like, listen, we have properties. Let's get it out on social media. The owners want that. So we make those videos, and that's the ones that get the most views and attraction, is the ones that are for rent mostly, but we do our for sales as well.
Yeah.
But
it's really just to be if somebody references us, they could see that we're relevant and recently relevant, and we're active and we're doing things, and we're not, we're not shy. We're out there in public. And it's like, and again, it's top of mind, staying in front.
So you as a personality you're made for social media, where not every business owner has that.
Yes.
I'm not. Yeah, I wasn't able to do OnlyFans, so I have to Instagram.
Go ahead. He's kidding. He's kidding. Or are you? Or are you kidding?
OnlyFans was out before we got together. That might have been his.
OnlyFans handle is the Rent Man. Really, we wanted to try to get clients from that, but savvy, competent owners, investors, clients, they're not really on Instagram, TikTok, or that kind of stuff. Looking they're LinkedIn, right? Like that's more of like a professional business platform,
and the content would be different for that than what you can do on Instagram and Facebook.
Exactly. So I mean,
are you on TikTok or no? Do you guys do the TikTok?
We have it, but we're not on it. Like we have it, but we're not really.
We do have it. Our last social media team member, he was really good. He was our field guy, so he was already on the field, so he was doing our marketing, and he did post a lot to TikTok, and TikTok was getting a lot of views. But honestly, Adi and I are not on TikTok, and we never look at it. Yeah. So I know from what he told us, it was doing really well. We saw a couple of things. I was like, oh my goodness. But we just
honestly, the clients, the potential clients that came out of that stuff, like Instagram and TikTok and whatnot, it wasn't anything great,
From the property owner side?
From the tenant side.
Okay.
It really wasn't much property owners coming from that. Our social media, or like the place where we do get clients from, is Yelp. No doubt about it.
Number one.
Number one source for
Google
for our business
and
is Yelp.
People Google property manager, because Yelp pays so much to be on there. They find us because we have really good
They're going to Google
rating.
property management in Henderson. Yeah. Going to give them all sorts of stuff. Then they're going to reference on Yelp to see how this come, and then they come to us.
So a very big difference between us and your company is we're B2B as it relates to social media. This is like my experience with social media. I would love more social media, more clients from social media, but it doesn't track,
right?
Especially commercial property owners and the kind of content that they would even be interested in. It's really not Instagram Reels sort of stuff, but there is top of mind, there is relevancy, there are those things.
Yeah, it's the branding.
Tenants also, that's not where they go to look for commercial space.
Right.
Some commercial real estate agents do find prospects there, but you really have to go all in.
Right.
And like you only have so much available resources, whether it's time, money, etc. And it's like, is this where
you want to put your attention on, right?
Where you want to put your attention on.
Right.
Yeah. But the B2B thing, So the B2C, like Yelp, I think works for you guys. Yelp for us is really where our tenants go to complain when they need somewhere to complain.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know, 6-7 years ago, I heard a speaker talk about Google reviews are going to be the rage. And so we started being proactive. So we are the most reviewed commercial real estate property management company in Southern Nevada.
Wow.
Nice.
And we don't even have, I think you guys have 100 and something Google reviews.
Yeah.
Like a 4-something star, close to 5,
4.5.
right?
Oh, close to
4.5.
5.
Maybe 4.
It's impossible to be 5 because
Yeah.
there's always those upset people, right?
Yeah.
That's what you'd think.
But then the strat, like if they
sometimes you
comment,
see 'em, right?
we respond.
Yeah.
And look, we have one beautiful where this person just bashed us.
Oh.
And then we responded like
Yeah.
you were
Right.
parked illegally. Here are the 5 signs from the entrance to the property to where you parked that said don't park here. And you'll get towed. And it's like you're blocking a school. It's like a commercial property that leads to a school. And then like the comments on like, oh man, Sally was having a bad day. Sally needs to read. Sally this, Sally
So
that.
the bad reviews are very important for the success of your presence, because if you have all good reviews, it almost seems fake.
It's fake.
But when a potential client sees some bad reviews, number one, he can see how you respond to it.
And first of
Right.
all,
And
you're responding to it.
Yes.
right.
The owner of the company is responding to it.
Yes.
And then
And they can see the problem and realize like, oh, you're not the problem. It was that guy. The person they can see like if they're competent, they're gonna see like, yes, it's a bad review, but this guy is a fucking idiot. And of course, like what? Like,
and if something does go wrong, bona fide. It's like, how are you owning up to it as a business owner?
Yeah.
right. So
So it's all great. It's
there's
all
always
good.
me wanting to respond, but I let Cassie respond.
Yes.
So that I'm like, I'm gonna set up a fake profile. I'm gonna hop on there and talk hella shit to this dude and let him know really how I feel.
So there
then
are
Cassie
people
was
that
like-
do bad responses, and you go and look at their profile, and where it shows you where else they post.
Well-
And they're like chronic negative posters out there.
Yeah.
No, yeah, those are like troll posters, right? No, but like for residential, like a bad review would be like a tenant saying, "These motherfuckers took my security deposit." But that's great for the owner
To
like, oh, these guys don't fuck around.
They're holding them accountable.
They're
Yeah.
gonna deduct and they're gonna take this guy's deposit. They're gonna protect me, and that works for benefit in a way.
Yeah. We have one now that I need to respond to still, but it's like I need to go now do a forensic.
Oh,
Yes.
the forensic
Right?
investigation of
Yeah.
what happened.
Well, I already know what happened because it's the type. So it's a tenant in one of our properties. And the kind of personality that goes on our website finds the top executive or business owner and copies them on his response to the property manager. And so I could read the whole chain,
Right.
which is that's a gift for me.
Yeah.
But why is he doing that? Because he's going above her head. He thinks he's going above her head.
Right.
But like,
Yeah.
guys, not only did we hire them,
Yes.
we're in the same office. Like she of all of the property, she's like among the most lovely. So if you think you're going to throw any of our people under the bus, like they really have had to have done something wrong.
Right.
But and so I've now read the entire chain, and here's the situation. Every time they get behind on their rent, they manifest issues at the property, and they cause the property manager to go investigate and go address all these issues, and like the issues with the tenant next door. And it's like, that's not even our problem.
Right.
You go next door and talk to the tenant next door.
Right.
We will maybe facilitate a conversation for you, but like, even if the tenant next door is causing this, like they're the ones that need to fix it. It's not the landlord. It's not us. We don't own the property.
You're
So
middleman.
it's one of these, right?
Middleman.
And then of course, and in the emails, in the chain, if you don't do this, I will complain to the division. If you don't do this, I'm gonna send a demand letter. If you don't do this, and they're all empty threats.
Yeah. Oh.
And so we're gonna go respond to one of these.
See,
No,
and me, I'm like, we're
I
gonna
hate
go over there and
those.
pull his AC fuse.
Yeah.
And Cassie's like, no, I got this. And but yeah.
Well,
Ugh.
You let me know if you ever need me to jump in.
All right,
Yeah.
I'll send you.
Third base, Yeah, no, I really, when they give bad reviews, a lot of them help us because it shows that we're not fucking around
Mhm.
and we will protect our owners and we will deduct and we will do what we say we're going to do. And then sometimes they just like, it's like something like Cassie's a bitch. Or,
Yeah.
Not even that, but like something crazy where it's like, okay, this completely, anyone who knows us knows that this is just silly.
So our founder, Carol
Yeah.
Kleinong,
Yeah.
she is one of the most remarkable people you can ever hope to meet.
Mm.
She's one of those, right?
Yeah.
Like just everything about her is high caliber, the most understanding, like communicates at a high level. I mean, you call her with an issue, she will go talk about investigative. Like she'll go pull the file and like go back and as an aside, and I'll come back to it. Like, she taught me like you document the file when you talk to tenants about why they can't pay their rent. And it's like, oh my God, your grandma died again. Cause is it the same grandma?
My grandma.
Like I'm going back, 9 months. She's died 3 times.
Right.
It's like,
I love that.
So the stories people will tell you, but she'll listen to the stories and will like, there's always empathy.
Yeah.
So whenever someone says, Carol, that woman, it's like, you're the problem. For sure. You're the problem.
Yeah. 1,000,000%. Like when we had a tenant call Cassie a bully.
Yeah.
And we're like, what? And all she told the tenants, like, look, if you're not happy, you guys can move out. Like, think about how crazy that is. They have
about everything.
They have a lease, and we're telling them if you're not happy, you can move out. That's how understanding our owners
break
are.
The lease.
Break the lease. Go. Penalty free. Go.
Penalty free.
We don't want to hold you against.
And you're a bully.
And called me a bully.
She called me a bully because she told them that they can leave if they want.
You're trying to kick them out.
Yeah,
I know.
Instead of realizing like we're letting you, like if you're not happy, all our accounts with the owners, our management agreements, which is insane, are month to month.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to hold anyone against their wishes. Like if you don't want to work with us, we're done. Like we're not gonna still manage it because our contract ends in March.
I'm gonna suffer with you for 3 months.
No.
Early. Oh my God.
Let's just widen this down now.
That's where the month to month management contracts came because we don't want it's all part of that energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll drop an account if the tenant is that crazy. Like we just can't. We can't have that in our life. But there's plenty of people who love that. People who love drama, love to fight. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's plenty of property managers.
Powered by drama.
Powered by drama.
Should we do that?
I mean, heart attack coming. That's what it's going to be, really. There's the people who just love that drama and they love that. And there's people who think we're crazy with this whole powered by kindness thing. And that's fine. That's just not our cup of tea. It's just, they're not for us and we're not for them. And that's fine.
When you have something that you stand for so strongly, it not only works as an attractor, it also works as a repellent. And it sounds like, but more so you guys are putting up, hey, here's how we work. Here's who we work with. This is how we operate. Let's just talk about it up front. And if it's not for you, let's just say it's not for you.
Yeah.
Or if we're not for you, we'll tell you we're not for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
The only thing we haven't mastered is how to tell somebody we don't want to work with them because they sound like they're fucking crazy.
Just sounding like crazy or actually being crazy?
Like you can tell when they're agreeing with everything, but you're like, I know you don't really feel like that. And there's going to be problems. But like,
how do you tell them
as you're trying to like get it out, like this isn't going to be a good fit. They're agreeing
with everything,
You get there.
No, it sounds like I need you. It sounds like I really need you.
This wasn't gonna be. Yes.
Yeah. No, it's insane. And then.
But we just stay like firm and confident. And
no, remember we talked about this at the beginning. This is where we're at. So
yes, exactly.
Yeah. After all,
let's go into some rapid fire takeaways.
Oh no, let's do it.
Both of you in your bio said you like good food.
Yes.
And you're about Vegas. So top 2 places in Vegas to have good food.
Okay.
Yellowtail.
Number 1, Yellowtail.
At the Bellagio.
We eat there too much. Oh my gosh, too much.
Pizza.
You're paying their rent.
So good.
The rent man pays your rent, Yellowtail.
Too much.
But you know why I like it so much? Because it's such good food, but it's nothing I can make at home.
Have you been to Yellowtail? Have you ever been to Yellowtail?
I think I've been to Yellowtail.
At the Bellagio, like you sit there by the fountains, behind the fountains? Yeah.
Yeah, and the scenery is so good, and then it's so good.
Yeah, it's a problem when you're like 6 and 10-year-old. They're like, "Are we going to Yellowtail?"
Yes,
like,
that's a problem.
No, we're not going to Yellowtail.
Listen, our kids grow up with very developed palates.
Yes,
it's insane.
They do. They really do.
It's insane.
All right, Yellowtail's one.
So
and then
we just started loving this new Thai restaurant called Charm in Henderson.
I've never heard of Charm.
Small boutique place that's like in a business center. But it has really good reviews, and we're really
it's across
all
the street
about
from McDonald Ranch, right where what's his name, Simply
Vegas,
Gafford's building is behind it, in the shopping center. Not even on the main street. It's like they don't want to like people to know or something.
Yeah, it's
and
so good.
Our problem is that we only eat like free range, grass fed, organic. Like our meat has to come from Whole Food. We watched a documentary called Food Inc.
Yeah.
It was like the worst date night movie selection I've ever made.
Yeah.
Like 15 years ago, I'm like, we should watch this. She's like, what? I put it on. Next thing we see the chickens eating the chickens and this, and it's all crazy.
So sad.
And we never went back. Only free range.
It was hard to go vegetarian, but I was like, okay, at least we can support the farms that are humane.
The restaurants that are supporting.
You're both vegetarian?
No.
We're not vegetarian. We eat meat, but only from farms that treat their animals
organic,
right.
grass-fed, free range.
Yeah.
That's the idea. Like we want to like support those kind of farming practices, not the Tyson brands.
Exactly.
You got 100, 1,000 chickens in a coop, and some are dead, and they take off their beaks, and they're just crowded. It's like
that sounds horrible.
No, Food Inc.
So sad.
You never seen that?
I don't want to
documentary?
watch that movie.
So
Don't watch it.
in turn, we eat a lot less meat because we only can eat.
It's like harder than
organic.
Right.
Yeah.
There's more kosher restaurants than free range grass. It's insane. But so when we do find a restaurant that like
that's it,
that
you're all in on that
grass fed and free range and so Charmed. It's like we work for them or something. We're getting paid. They are. So you know how I love chicken.
You could become
sake.
an affiliate of Charmed, and
I'm
they can.
gonna have to go do a video there.
Yeah.
When you said chicken, you know what came to my mind? A video that you did with some turkeys.
Oh yeah.
I was right. I was like, for Thanksgiving, I was telling the turkey that he's probably okay because tomorrow's Thanksgiving.
So on the screen is you. It's like one of these petting zoo places here, right? Mickey Ranch, right? So I recognize the place.
My business card to the turkey.
So you're standing on mulch. There's turkeys around you, and you're handing your business card. And it's almost like on cue. The turkey takes it out of your hand.
Insane. It was wild.
And you're talking to the turkey as if it's a tenant.
Yeah.
Well, I'm telling him he's safe, and if
you're like, listen, I can take you if you need a place. If you want to be relocated, I can take care of you.
Like, I see you're in a pickle here. Like, if you want to relocate, call me. Yeah.
And then you're like, I think you guys are safe. It's tomorrow's Thanksgiving. If you're not in the store already, I think you're good.
Yeah.
Does business come out of it? No. But does 10 years later, Hayim Mizrahi mentions it on his takeaway podcast, and it makes them laugh and this and that? I'm fucking winning.
There's this thing like, they're living in my head rent free. I don't know if you guys have heard that before. No. Usually you say it a client pisses you off and like you wake up at 1 a.m. with your anxiety and like they're living in your head rent free.
Right.
You're taking up too much space in my head. It's usually like a negative connotation, but like literally your maniac dancing video, this turkey video, the Allegiant one. These live in my head rent free.
Well,
Rent man.
Let me at least give you some money. I pay
the rent man.
Just leave you like $5. At least you know I paid.
It's like the ultimate rent man that gets free rent in someone else's head, kind of a thing.
I love it. Thank you.
All right, best takeaway from a book that you read.
Okay.
Delivering Happiness, Powered by Kindness.
Yeah.
For me, so many books though. I mean, there's so many.
So I know.
Things that have come out, but if there's just one, that's mine.
The best takeaway or the best, like we read a book called The Bitcoin Standard.
Oh yeah.
By a very like super smart guy, Sadifian, some crazy, I don't even know how to say his name, but it's called The Bitcoin Standard. We read that by a recommendation from someone we know who like heavily invested into Bitcoin and back in 2010 when it was like $10 a coin.
Mm-hmm.
And, after reading that, we invested in it too. And I think that really like really learning the concept of what's happening with like the standard, like the money, like how the money went from like the little rocks to like gold and now gold to Bitcoin. Like it's a new standard of digital world currency. That it really spoke to me. And then it got me to like invest, at a good time, for that. So I guess that would be like a good takeaway for me.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I do more audiobooks just because I like to, like I said, I like to do my walks or my exercise and listen. Because I don't have, it's hard for me to find the time right now, to read, to sit down and read, get away from these motherfucking kids.
Jared, my business partner, Jared, has this thing that he says, is like, I'd love to talk right now, but my kids are on me. So and he says like, my kids are on me. All over me. My kids are all over me. My kids are all over me.
Mine is my kids are fucking my brain. That's what I say. It's funny because I got like half my staff saying, "Oh, this owner call was fucking the brain," or "This parent is fucking the brain." Everybody's fucking the brain until proven otherwise. But the kids really have a gift at that. The kids have like a radar. They're like, "Oh fuck." Mommy's comfortable and happy, and then they come and ruin that shit, Like they know when we're comfortable, relaxing, and happy, and they right away go to end that shit. Fucking the brain with the rent man.
What's a podcast you never miss?
Oh, we love yours.
Thank you.
We really do.
I didn't set you up for that. What's another one?
But we do love
like
yours.
Dan Fleischman's The Money Monday. You heard of Dan Fleischman?
No.
Oh my gosh,
it's called The Money Mondays, and he's in like the top 5 like business podcasts for like the last 100 weeks he's been on. And really cool guy, really like, our age, young. I think he's like the youngest guy ever to go take a company public. angel investor, got like many companies. He catchphrased, "Who's your daddy?" Remember "Who's your daddy"?
Mhm.
It was all over super.
Seriously?
Yeah. That was one of his first things. And he has a story about how he was at the Magic convention next to is it Damon Johns with
Yep.
Fubu and
Yep.
whatnot.
Yep.
And he was "Who's your daddy?" and it was like his booth was like huge, and he had like a little table, and now they're like partners on a lot of stuff. But really cool business interviews, like amazing variety of guests, like super like successful and artists and all sorts of people. And so that's a really good one. It's about 45 minutes because that's the average time of like a workout or commute to work is what he says. So really good, to the point. They talk about
What do you think
things.
about that? So I don't do short form.
No, you just do whatever.
I go as long as the conversation goes, but not like Joe Rogan where it's like 3 hours kind of a thing.
I don't think there's a right or wrong, honestly. It depends what the motivation is behind it, right?
And
Like, I
who
don't
it
know.
is.
Fair enough.
Sometimes it's fun to
Yeah.
just listen and
All
listen and
your
listen.
people that you have on are so interesting
Right.
that it goes by fast and you're not looking at the
It
clock.
literally
You're
blinks.
just
Yeah.
you're just
Totally.
listening and learning and
But where I lose people that mentally won't commit to something more than 45 minutes
Right.
or an
Right.
hour, or like,
Well,
oh, it's
well,
too
you gotta
long.
pause it and continue the next.
Well, I guess it's a
Okay.
science,
Drive.
and it's like proven.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm me or him making it up. Like,
No, it's true.
That's the science.
And
Of
so I can make a
attention.
decision like, all right, so if I want that, I
Yeah.
could just shorten these things. But then what am I losing?
Right.
There's
I'm
so much
glad you're
I feel
making
like,
it after our
yeah,
long
no.
one.
This one's gonna be like the first 20 minutes.
But that- it's
like
actually-
after all the edits. Is there anything left? I don't even know. Like fuck. How
The
many
cool,
fucks
the
can I
cool,
say
the
per
cool
minute?
thing about this format is you don't have to edit things.
Yeah.
Like it's not like
Right.
there's it's
Right.
TV where you have to edit certain segments. It's actually so the presidential election, this one,
Yeah.
one of the reasons they believe Trump won is because he was willing to go on podcast, him and Vance, and the other team were not.
Right.
And there's a movement to people want to get their information more like this than they do on where you go on TV
Right.
and it's a 12-minute segment interrupted by 2 commercials. Like, what am I getting out of that? I'm getting like practiced sound bites. I'm not getting,
Right.
and so
You're not getting the
there's
raw,
that.
unfiltered content.
And then there's like, if I want a 45-minute thing, like think about how much I have to do this completely differently.
Right.
You don't leave room, free range to just
Yes.
talk. So I think I'm going to stick with it.
Yeah.
Would you guys be upset if other businesses started adopting your mantra powered by kindness?
No, that's the goal.
Yeah, we love
Other
it. We want
businesses, other
everyone
people,
to.
everyone, yeah.
Every business should be powered by kindness. Like I say to all the kids at Career Day, whatever you do it with kindness.
That's literally Cassie's quote.
Yeah.
Whatever you do it with kindness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, of course.
Yeah.
I'm like, send me the logo. I'll slap your logo on here and send you a shirt even. You know,
Yeah.
like, of course. The idea is to motivate it.
Yeah.
Get more people to be kind rather
Yeah.
than not, you know?
For sure.
It's crazy world.
There's a licensing deal there. I got to go on Shark Tank. All right. You both also said you like spa days.
Yes.
Unbelievable. What the princesses we are.
Where's the best place for a spa day? And what does a perfect spa day look like?
Mm.
Well, I don't know if it's the best place. It's our favorite place because we're in Henderson, Green Valley Ranch. We like to go to their spa.
Yeah.
And what does it look like? It looks like we get there as early as they open.
Mm-hmm.
We go to the pool.
Mm-hmm.
We maybe jump in the water real quick, then get back on the beds,
Mm-hmm.
order food,
Mhm.
maybe watch a little bit of something and
Mhm.
something, maybe jump
Yeah.
back in the pool, finish eating, go get the massage,
Have a drink.
have a drink or two, and then
Really
get the massage.
relax. Yeah.
I'll fall asleep in the massage usually,
Yes.
and then come back out,
The goal.
and then that's it. And then we
Yeah.
go home.
Mm-hmm.
Ideally, we have a room there and we don't have to go back home. There's nothing like going to a spa day and then coming back home to these motherfucking kids. Fucking the brain.
Just to undo it.
Yeah.
It's like just today, I went on my walk. I come home. Cassie goes on her walk. She's like, "Don't yell at the kids." I'm like, "Of course I'm not going to yell at the kids," because I met her outside, like outside on the. I go on my walk, and then right before I came into the house, she came out. So we had a little moment outside the house,
Oh, man.
and she's like, "Don't yell at the kids. They're a little bit on one or something." I don't know what she
Yeah,
said.
they
She
were.
Just,
They
she
were.
just said, "Don't yell at the kids." I'm like, and yeah, I just had a peaceful walk. I'm like hella zen. I'm like, why would I yell at the kids? Of course. Literally within 10 minutes, I swear she can show the text.
Yeah.
Within 10 minutes, I text her. I already yelled at these motherfuckers 5 times. I was in a good mood. I went on a walk. I'm zen. I'm happy. I come in, literally, and they're already yelling and fighting about something. And then, then I start yelling, but it's not yelling like violent yelling.
No.
It's yelling like,
They know.
I don't know what, like Eddie Murphy funny
Oh,
yelling.
there's
but
the
it's like-
meme. There's the meme. Like, it's like, Dad, why are you yelling? Because you didn't listen the first 5 times I told you calmly.
Literally, yes.
But usually Cassie's like the calm, like that's the when we say like we will both yell at, say something the same exact thing, but like two different, like two different. Like she's like hella nice, and I'm yelling like you're gonna die if you don't do this. And, it's pretty hilarious. Yeah, we got some good footage on our home camera.
I love how we went from like he was even in when you were explaining the perfect spa day, how you were just like. You were like, and then we come calm, and then immediately,
boom, we come home,
and he's riled up now.
Lift it down. I don't want this. I'll move it out. Wow, you motherfuckers! Like that was just a big waste of $500. I just fucking paid when all that got voided, just like that. And I'm super zen guy, hella calm, like hella peaceful. Like I just want a good time, and these kids, man, I love them, but it's not, there's no but. I love them. They're lucky I love them. I guess. Maybe that's what I'm saying. They're lucky I love them.
And they are obsessed with Adid, too. Oh, my God.
Thank God. Because it's either they're obsessed or they want to move out.
Even with all his yelling, they're like, he's the fun one. And
yeah, that's what's fine. No, we have rallies, me and the kids,
like,
where we're like, we have rallies, and we're like, Mommy's the enemy. I was like, remember that, no matter what, Mommy's the enemy. It's us versus Mommy. But it's good stuff. Yeah, we're all scared of Cassie. I mean, we're all scared. We're all scared. Yesterday we had a group little like dinner at the clubhouse. We brought all our team. We had like a little get together, and we were playing this game where you pull out cards and ask questions to get to know each other. And they pulled out the card and they're like, "What are you afraid of?" And it was just like within a millisecond, I'm like, "Cassie." And that's it. Moved on to the next question. I'm afraid of Cassie and God. That's the only things I'm afraid of. God. But for good reasons. For good reasons. You know?
In a good way.
In a good way. In a good way. I don't want to disappoint her, and I don't want to upset her. But these kids, God bless them.
We're gonna wrap up with a final takeaway that you guys want to share. Adi, you're gonna go first because Cassie should have the last word today.
For sure. For sure.
What's a final takeaway you want to leave us all with?
Like
I'm crying.
Words of wisdom.
Anything.
Do everything you want to do before having kids. Because once you have the kids, they're going to take the fun out of that. Like Disneyland. Disneyland is funner without kids. Like me and Cassie could go smoke a joint, go have a fucking grand old time. I mean, I take the kids. I want a hot dog. No, I don't want a hot dog. I want that. I want to go on that ride. I don't want to go on that ride. I'm afraid of Mickey Mouse. I want to go back. I got to go shit. I got to go pee. I want this. I'm like, oh, fuck. What are we doing here? It's like going on vacation is to go to another place to yell at them there. Just stay home. Yell at them at home. Don't go on vacation. Motherfucking shit. I love them. That's probably going to be the first topic of my stand-up is these motherfucking kids. Because most of my notes are about that. But that's my takeaway. God. Do everything you want in life and then go have kids. Man. Go on. Sorry, Kitty. Go on.
We'll give her a second. I have a follow-up because I'm curious about something. Give Cassie a second
to catch up.
Catch up and think about it. Do you have a creative process for either your stand-up or the social media bits or content?
He has
do you
no
think
filter.
Through that or no?
No, he does not think before.
You know what I'm talking about though when I say do it? You know what I'm talking about when I say creative process or no?
No, do I like build it up, get in a smoke a joint or something? Or you mean like a process, like drink a beer? What do you mean, like a 40?
So
no,
I think it was probably when I started listening to podcasts because then the guys that I was listening to would bring on stand-up comedians, but they would talk about there's a process, and then. That was like a guy named James Altucher, who was a finance guy who he himself got into stand-up comedy. He lives in New York, bought a comedy club, got into stand-up comedy. And like they would break down, like, how do you create a set? Right. And like there's different types of sets. And there's bits and how do you build a bit? And like Joe Rogan talks about it with some comedians that he has on. So Tim Ferriss was another podcast that I started listening to and continue to now. He would bring on authors. And they would talk about, so Tim Ferriss is an author, but he would talk to the authors about their creative process. And now I'm forgetting his name. The book is called The Creative
Mindset?
No. So the guy I'm thinking about, this is funny. I can't remember his name. Yeah. Rick Rubin. He's like the father of modern day hip hop. Jewish guy in New York, liked hip hop, got into hip hop, made himself a producer and like started helping all the first like hip hop bands produce themselves. And like, he's now produced everybody.
Wow.
Literally everybody. For whatever reason, I can't recall names right now, so I don't want to butcher it, but he has a whole book on like the creative process. So it's fascinating. And so like you've got, comedic timing and setups and all these things.
I don't even look at it like that.
You just kind of go, whatever works.
I'm just talking to you right now. I'm not. This is just.
But the Disneyland
trauma
bit,
of
like
life.
you've thought about it, like you've developed
Well,
some.
He wrote it at Disneyland
No,
as it
as
was
it's
happening.
happening.
You're writing it, yeah.
I added to my notes.
Yes, yeah.
It's the most comedy, especially like the kind you want to do, where you want to blame everything else or whatever. It's like you're observing.
Blaming Cassie.
No, like Jerry
With her.
Seinfeld.
She's like, you can't just sleep with me. You got to spend the night. You got to take me out, be romantic. And here we are, 20 years later. Well, yeah.
All right, so creative process. No, you don't really have one. You never thought about it.
No, I didn't. I never thought about it like that. No, I really like it. It just. I feel like
I'm fucking your brain now.
No. You can do it. You can do it.
Is that? Did I say it right?
Yeah, fucking the brain. You're fucking the brain. Do I have a creative process that I don't? I'm not.
This is just
No,
funny.
you
We've
just
been
kinda
together
go.
so long. I
You
can
just
ask
kinda
her. I'm
go.
like, do I?
There is
Right.
no filter, no thinking through
The funny,
anything that
it's
comes
just
out
like
of his mouth.
the funny thing is, I think my dad has no filter. Like as
Yeah.
crazy as I am,
Sure.
Yeah.
My dad the same.
I think my dad is.
Yeah.
My
way
mother-in-law
great,
the same.
Yeah. So you get it, So you get like the old school. I guess it's.
I think part of the reason that works with Danielle and I is like I'm horrified when she's meeting my dad, or like when the thing happens, and like she's horrified when I'm meeting her mom, and we're both like, oh,
horrified.
Like I'll tell you a funny story.
Constant state of horrification.
We're getting serious, but not serious enough that like what I'm about to say is appropriate behavior.
Yeah.
So like we're at my dad's house and he comes out in the living room. He hands me a jewelry box with a ring in it. It's a diamond ring, like as if the kind of ring you would use to propose.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's this? He's like, oh, I've got, like Israeli guys got jewelry he's
Yeah.
collected over the years.
Right.
I've got this, and maybe you could use it. For what?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
maybe you can use it, right? It's like there's an audacity kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So fast forward 2 weeks later, we go to a show with her parents. Her uncle was in town, so we're at the show is maybe like Elton John at Caesar's Palace. And so they're already there. We get there and they're sitting down and we kind of sit down. And how are we arranged? So I think I'm here, she's here, and like her parents are here, right? Her mom, it was her birthday. It was Danielle's birthday. Her mom reaches across me and hands Danielle a jewelry box from the jewelers. And what do you think's inside?
Stop.
That ring?
It's a gift for Danielle from her mom.
Oh.
No, it's not that ring. It's
Oh.
it's a ring. It's an engagement ring. Danielle opens it, closes it, and like the audacity. But they both have this
Yeah.
incredible. I'm laughing. Like my dad just gave me a ring. Your mom just gave you a ring. It's like
That's a way better story than mine.
no, it gets. It's like
No.
this is like you go to a restaurant and we're all just kind of like, okay, what's coming out of their mouth? What's
Right.
coming out of their mouth? Is it going to be dry, funny humor, but it's never taken as humor? There's no filter. They say. One of my cousin once told me, he's like, I love your dad. I respect your dad because you never have to guess where you stand with your dad.
Right.
Whatever he's thinking, he's going to give it to you like a
Where,
mirror.
where my emotions.
That actually reframed how I think about. Like, he's like,
Right.
I don't have to guess.
Right.
Yeah.
If they're upset, they'll tell you and you can talk about it.
Blunt and honest.
Yeah. Sorry, tell me about your dad.
Oh, no. It was
I
funny.
love that.
You were saying like her mom gave her the ring or your dad gave you the ring. All I can remember is Cassie's dad gave me a Tech 9. Now, I don't know if he gave it to me like, hey, like what, when we got engaged, the engagement present he gave me was a Tech 9. Which is
It's a gun?
Yeah, it's a gun.
Yeah, okay.
Not the rapper. So he gave me this Tech 9 and I'm like,
What do I do?
what
with
is he
the tech-
saying? Like,
Yeah, what-
like you can have my daughter, but here's a Tech. Don't bring like
No back.
I don't want her back. Like, so either use this Tech 9 and get rid of her, or get rid of you, or whatever. But like, it was just insane. But that's what we got. Like, that's what I got. You got something else?
I had a little necklace.
A little necklace. Yeah. See, my mom gave a necklace. Her dad gave a Tech 9 to show you like the whole crazy dynamic of the families. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right,
Those are cute
Cassie,
little-
That's a
yeah.
whole nother-
what's your final takeaway you want to leave everybody with?
In life,
I'm gonna take away a D from this
Yeah.
podcast ASAP.
Everyone gets a Tech 9. You get a Tech 9.
You have it.
The shirt, you get a shirt that says powered by kindness and a Tech 9.
yeah. No, like I said, whatever you do in life, do it with kindness. The grocery store, gas station, school, work, home, wherever you are. Just try to be nice. And if you're not, because we're not always nice, either stay home or take a moment, smoke a joint, drink some wine. Or
Whatever
drink
your thing
something,
is.
Whatever your thing is, like meditate, breathe, but try not to spread it, because it is contagious, a bad mood, and so is a good mood.
Yeah.
So spread a good mood.
Awesome. Well, thank you both for being here.
Thank you for having us.
It's
You're
so fun.
amazing. We love
always
you.
a pleasure. I mean, it's
Yeah.
to see you, and it's an honor. So thank you.
The pleasure's mine. Thank you for listening. I would love to hear from you about your takeaways from this episode. Make sure to leave us a comment or leave us a review. Also, please subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can hear future episodes as they come out. My name is Hayim Mizrahi. Tune in next time.